In the not-too-distant present, a challenge unlike any other begins. 3 men, 1 year, 0 game purchases. They stand against temptation, towering backlogs, and the endless lure of digital sales. This is the Year of Shame Challenge. A test of willpower, a battle against impulse, a journey into the heart of unplayed games, where only discipline survives.
Hello all, and welcome to episode 3 of the Year of Shame Challenge, season 14. My name's Stuart, and I'm joined by my co-hosts Richard and Brian in our attempt at not buying or playing any new video games and just focusing on what we already own. Welcome back, Brian. We missed you on the last episode. How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm doing okay, I think. I'm hanging in there. No, thank you.
Cool. And Richard, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. Nice to...
What have you been up to since the last?
Oh, me, since last time. I've been in the perpetual waiting to move house zone since last time. Just waiting and waiting. We've got, I think there's 5 parties involved in the chain. And I think probably since we last recorded, 4 of the 5 have been totally ready. And we're just waiting on the person who's at the bottom of the chain. So I'm getting a little bit nervous because I'm guessing people who are kind of first-time buyers at the bottom of the chain are like the more likely people to have just something, circumstances changing and stuff. So it's making me a little bit nervous. They're currently, because I think interest rates have gone down since this whole saga started. So they're currently redoing their mortgage because they can get a cheaper rate, which I think is going to end up being futile because war on Iran is pushing the rates back up again. So I think they'll get 90% of the way through their application and it'll all change again. So I've been using the time to line things up. So I've got the removals company booked for a date that won't happen. And I've cleared out some more junk from the house. So the house is getting gradually tidier, which is good. And then what else have I been doing this month? I've done some really good kind of PC maintenance. So as part of the kind of cleaning and tidying, I gave the rig a proper going over. I've got one of these dust blowers, so I can take the sides off and just absolutely blast the innards and just watch the whole room filling with dust. But once that's done, everything feels good and the CPU runs a couple of degrees cooler and stuff like that. So that's very satisfying. And then I think last time I was talking about my Azeron cyborg thing, which I'm showing to you guys.
Oh, wow.
And I'd been having some problems with it. It's all meant to be entirely adjustable, so you can adjust it exactly how you want your hand to kind of sit in the device. But it has it's all 3D printed, and there's like a weak spot where essentially you should be able to adjust it and then tighten a screw. But if you over tighten it, it kind of snaps off, and it's done this a couple of times. And whenever you have to order replacement parts, they come from Latvia. So it only costs kind of about $12 or something for the parts themselves, but then you pay $25 the postage for like 4 or 5 little tiny bits of plastic. So I went for a repair because it had sheared off, and it's always the buttons I use most frequently. So it's like a run button, which obviously when that breaks mid-game and this thing starts flapping around, you've got a bit of a problem with moving around in the games. So I did a replacement with one of the new parts, and then the new part broke.
Oh. So
I lost patience with it, got the super glue out. So I've now super glued it, and it's absolutely rock solid, but it means it is no longer adjustable. So I've done some good maintenance, clean PC and input device sorted. And then this is all like very middle-aged man stuff. I got envy this month because somebody on the street had a mobile car valeting company come out and just spend a whole day making their car look really nice. And it made me realise that my car looks an absolute state. Because I don't do that much driving because everything's kind of local here. We walk quite a lot of places. But I'll go to festivals in the summer and stuff. So my car's just like caked in mud. And I'd been thinking, I need to treat myself at some point. but I can't bring myself to spend the money, basically, because you're probably looking at about 80 quid to have a proper job done on it. And I kind of feel like I deserve it, but I can't bring myself. It's 2 games that obviously I can't buy. So anyway,
That's it.
that bit of it's 2 games next year. But seeing that mobile valeting company come out and my vacuum breaking and me getting a new one seemed like a perfect storm. So I got a new vacuum, and last weekend I went out and did it myself, and the car is gleaming and shiny, and I did all the inside. So there's like 3 years worth of mud and bogies all up in the vacuum, and honestly it's like I got a new car. So I feel pretty proud of that effort. What else has happened? I've been invited to a wedding, which is a weird thing at my age. So one of my friends who I did some of the travelling with, he's been with his future wife for years and years and years, over a decade probably, and he's finally getting married. So I got an invite both to a stag do and a wedding, and I've had to bail on the stag do because it's going to coincide probably with me moving house. And also they were going to be cycling around the Isle of Wight. The combination of that stuff kind of just it put me off. So I'd said yes originally, and then I've bottled on the stag. But I've got a wedding to look forward to in May, which is nice. And then aside from that, I think I might have mentioned last time I had a big birthday, and I think I might have mentioned that I, with lots of vouchers, bought myself a fancy coffee machine. So I've pretty much spent 3 weeks since we last recorded just drinking coffee.
Oh, nice,
So
nice.
it makes such a nice cup of coffee, and I found a local roastery. So they now deliver me freshly roasted beans on a kind of frequent basis, and so work is now easier because I'm like fueled, and I've got a little treat every day. So those are my main things. The whole health and fitness thing's still going well. I set myself that target of doing a certain amount of exercise each quarter of the year to keep it consistent, and I'm tracking that day by day, and looking good for my kind of end of March target. So yeah, a kind of mixture of middle-aged stuff, drinking coffee, and then doing a bit of fitness to make things better again.
Excellent. Ah, good stuff. What have you been up to, Brian, since the last episode? Or since before that?
Before the last episode, let me see. So I mentioned, I think back in November in the previous year, about my mother being ill. Well, she turns out she had cancer, and she passed away early February. So I get a phone call, come home now, fly home, and well, I didn't make it in time. So I arrived a couple of hours late. I'll say it's been a bit of a shock. So I had to fly back. I was back in Ireland for a week and a bit. Shout out to my brother Lister. I don't know if you could listen to this, but you looked after me well. And you mentioned the fancy coffee. My sister has an extremely fancy coffee machine, at least to my standards, and it was excellent to stay in there. My nieces, her young daughters, were making coffee for me the whole time, so that was great. Get up in the morning and they're there with doing the barista thing, making coffee for me. So that was cool. Yeah. Since I've been to Amori, which is the really snowy area, I think I mentioned before I'm going to go to it. Is it Forza Horizons, the game that's coming out soon? They show a scene where you're driving through Japan.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and it's all the snowy area, so that's where we went. Amori is the snowiest area in the world. The hotel we stayed in, the snow was only maybe about 5 or 6 feet, but I would like to live there for a year, but I don't think I could hack it. Not for a long term anyway. Like, I saw small vans side the road parked. They must be parked up further because they just had like 4 or 5 feet of snow just on top of them.
Wow.
They're not moving them, so they just sat there, and it's like you couldn't to them. It's an absolute nightmare. But yeah, it's really interesting place to go if you're into skiing. Really good skiing there as well. What else has happened here? School year is coming to the end. As I mentioned to you guys earlier, I work in 2 schools. So I work in a junior high and an elementary school. So the elementary is what we used to call in Ireland a primary school, and then the junior high is the first 3 years of secondary school. So my third year students from junior high, they've graduated last Friday they graduated. So they're moving on to high school, which will be another 3 years. So, and then my elementary school, the 6th grade, is about to graduate Thursday week. End of school year, it's just basically exams and doing tests. So I record audio. So I'm I won't say a radio star, but a voice actor over here doing audio for the kids and going through like scenarios, and they have to listen to the scenarios and answer questions. So tough on them having to deal with the Irish accent, which suddenly got worse after I came back from Ireland. But yeah, so it was quite fun. But the other thing with the end of the school year, my contract is up. We get a contract for 52 weeks. So it starts in April and finishes the end of March. So last year, we didn't get told whether you had a new job with the company until the very end of March. So it was like March, I think it was 23rd, 24th. And the school year ended on the 27th. So you didn't know that you had a new job. So I went out and applied and got another job with another company that pay slightly less, but I had a job. And then my company came out and offered a job. So I switched and stayed with my company. And I had a full-on argument with them saying, this is stupid. You're going to lose teachers if you don't tell us earlier. 2 weeks ago, I found out a job next year, which is great, but I have no idea what schools I'm going to be working in. As they have this bizarre system, they move teachers around. Now, because I'm not employed directly by the Board of Education, I can only stay up to 3 years in one school, and after that you have to move. Otherwise, the Board of Education have to employ you directly, so they don't want that because we're like temps. But the teachers themselves get moved around, and they can spend up to between 5 and 7 years typically in the school, and then they get moved to another school. And if they're hired by the local city, they get moved within the city. But if you're hired or employed by the prefectures, you have a much better job. You get paid more, you get more holidays and stuff, but you also get the drawback that you could be sent within the prefecture. So you could be sent to a school 100 miles away. And you get told, actually, they were told yesterday, Friday the 13th, the teachers were told yesterday by the Board of Education where they're going. They have no idea how fast they could be teaching. So typically, if you're in elementary, you'll stay in elementary, or if you're in junior high, you'll stay in junior high. But you could be teaching like a homeroom teacher, or you could be teaching a specific subject. So you could become the art teacher or the science teacher. And when you go to schools, then you get told what club you're going to look after. So you could be going as the science teacher in junior high and be told you're going to look after ladies tennis. And you're going to have to read up about how to train people on ladies tennis, and then take the girls and do that. Or you could be doing boys baseball or ladies baseball or whatever. You could be whatever, and they have a week to figure out class notes for the next year, and then work out this. We're going to train these kids. It's really bizarre. And the other thing is so the teachers found out yesterday what schools they're going to. They can't tell the other teachers until March 24th. For some reason, it's kept secret. They may tell their friends. I'm not going to say for definite that they do, but they may tell their friends that they do where they're going. But in general, it's not actually made public. But they never tell the kids. So they'll come back to school next year that their teacher they had last year has gone elsewhere. So it's quite weird. And I think I mentioned last year that I may have said this all last year. Some of the schools, they run goodbye festivals. So in May, they'll have a festival, bring back the teachers who left, so that people can say goodbye to them. All it is trauma, pure trauma. You're in a gymnasium, there's like 200-300 kids, and they're just all crying, absolute floods of tears. So I've got that to look forward to again this year. I went to 2 of them last year. One, I was one of the teachers who had left, and you're brought into classrooms afterwards, and the kids come up and they're just crying, looking at you and holding your hand, and I miss you. Oh my God, please. Or you're like in a hall and doing the same thing. It's just, it's a nightmare. But the elementary school I'm currently in, I was at their one for last year, and the kids were so broken-hearted. It was horrible. I felt like I was going to cry because you've got so many kids all around you crying. I had packets of tissues I was just handing out to the kids. But it's just, it's horrible. So,
and they do it every year.
Every year, there's kids, yeah.
Wow.
Like they see the teachers 8-9 hours a day in school, and then you've got after school club activities. At the end, the teacher's gone, there's no goodbye, no nothing. It just seems really bizarre.
I mean, you can see them doing it one year and having, causing all this trauma and going, all right, that was a bad idea. Let's not do that again. But to do it every year.
A teacher will stay in the school maybe 5 years, but other teachers will get moved. So they're all moved the whole time. Now, I saw policy things about trying to good teachers get to move around within the area so that they can pass on their good teaching practices. I can see that, but maybe only move the good teachers and make sure the bad teachers are with the good teachers so they can train them up. But this is just, I don't know. It's just pure trauma for the kids, especially in elementary still, because they love their teachers. They're absolutely head over heels. Their teachers are, they're the cool dude or the amazing lady or whatever. But it's crazy to watch. It's horrible. Yeah. But anyway, that's all coming up in the next few weeks. Yay! But yeah, the graduation ceremony is pretty good. I had a farewell party in elementary school. They do a farewell party to the sixth graders. So they have all the other grades come out and sing songs or try and play tricks. It's really sweet, really nice. And that was quite cool the other day. But yeah, we'll see. So that's work. Let me see. The only two other things. One, I was listening to the Gamers Confessional. They hit 400 episodes. So congrats on hitting 400 episodes to Vimesy, Clarky and Pet. But other than that, that's all happening around my area anyway. So
cool.
Stu, how about you?
Well, Richard pointed out before we started recording that it's only been 3 weeks since we recorded the last episode. And I thought that not a lot had happened in my life in the last 3 weeks. But it turns out that, when you start listing things down in preparation for these episodes, you tend to figure out that you've actually done quite a bit. So shortly after our last episode, I went out to the garage one morning and my car had just decided to dump the entire contents of the coolant system on the garage floor. Oh. And so... Oh, no. I know. And so I took it into one of our local garages here and they said, it's a Skoda, which is a Volkswagen variant. And there's a known flaw with all of these variants that the water pump that, services the coolant system is made of aluminium and plastic, and it warps over time, and then none of the pipes fit, and it just all leaks out. So that was annoying. It was a fairly easy fix, but they basically have to dismantle the entire engine to get to the water pump. So they're not going to do that for free, So they certainly charge for it. But the car's now back to working again, and that's always good to have the mobility. Now I just need to be able to afford putting petrol in it, though. Because I don't know what things are like in your part of the world, but our petrol prices have gone absolutely mental this week.
They've just gone up slightly here, but they're queuing to get into the place, which is just nuts.
Yeah, same here. You know how it is in the UK. Everyone just panics and straight in for the petrol. And whilst we're here, let's buy loads of pasta and toilet roll just in case.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, do you guys listen to the Seal podcast?
Yes, I think because you mentioned it, I absolutely love it. I was listening to it last night, actually.
Birch, he works in Tesco in the petrol station. They ran out of petrol like 3 days into the week. Their week's supply of petrol went within 3 days. There's just everybody coming in to top up, all the Sunday drivers topping up their cars and stuff. So it's just panic buying, which is crazy, absolutely crazy.
Yeah. Our local hardware shops have all run out of jerry cans, apparently.
Oh my God.
It's not enough to just fill your car. You got to go and get as many containers as you can and fill all of them as well, So,
no.
Anyway, yeah. So that was the first thing. The second thing is I'm planning a trip to South Africa. Well, my 40th high school reunion is coming up. And I've not been to any of the previous ones. I left the town that I grew up in shortly after I graduated from university. And I only go back like every so often. When my mum was still alive, I'd go back and visit mum and dad. My dad's there, and we've been back a couple of times to visit him, but he comes out here quite often as well. So there's not been much call to go back to the town. But I think I'll go back for my 40th. It's in September. Yeah, it's been a long time since I've seen these people, though. So hopefully everybody's got a name badge on, because I don't know if I'd recognize any of them. And much like myself, I expect that there will be an abundance of baldness, I think there'll be a lot of old guys around.
Don't forget when you're talking to them, if they ask you what you're doing now, I'm a podcaster, okay? So
Yep.
Yeah.
We'll boost those numbers.
yeah.
I finally finished building my Science at Cambridge computer, and
Ooh.
I got everything plugged into it, and the only thing I hadn't done was turn it on. So there was a couple of days where all the parts were in, and I just sat and looked at this thing under the microscope and made sure that all of my my solder joints were correct. Because if I powered it up and the power shorted out and it blew a chip, it was going to be very difficult to get those parts again. So it was, let's say it was sphincter tightening when I finally plugged the power in and turned it on, and it all worked. And I was like,
Oh, amazing.
Yay.
phenomenal.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was good.
Do you have a little ceremony, or do you just press and hope, or do you give yourself a bit of a build up and like cut a ribbon or something like that?
No, it was just a USB. So effectively, what I've done with it is, and nobody's going to see this on the audio podcast, but it doesn't actually have a connector on the board. So what I've done is I've jerry-rigged a USB connector to the back there. I don't know if you can see that. Just a USB-C, and then soldered that onto the mount points where the power is expected to come into the board. And that gives you the right 5-volt, 1 milliamp type power that you expect. But yes, plugging that USB cable in was a very tentative plug-in, you know? So that's that project is all finished now, and I'll make sure that gets framed and put on the wall with all the rest of them now that it's in working order. But it does mean that I now need to start looking at something else to build. So what's my next project going to be is going to be the big question, you know? But it did get me thinking about how many of these computers I've actually got distributed around the house. And so I went through and I counted them all up. And, you know, not including, you know, multiple Windows desktops and laptops and things. It turns out there's 34 devices in my collection.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That is madness.
So I probably need to slow down with the collections there. But yeah, it's a nice little collection to have, and it's nice that they're all in working order, and you can take them out and power them up, and you know, play something on it that's the way it was meant to be played on, you know, on the actual hardware. So I do enjoy that. Separate to that, though, I had a couple of trips to Melbourne for work, but they were just like fly in, fly outs. You know, you get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, or before that, you get the first flight out at 6 a.m. and then you get home at 11 o'clock at night. But you're sleeping in your own bed, so that's certainly preferable to checking into hotels and, you know, staying overnight unnecessarily. But that does obviously then disrupt on your ability to do any gaming. I have a little Ambinic portable device that looks like a Game Boy SP. So it just folds open and shut, you know, single screen. And it's got a whole bunch of retro games on it there. So I tend to take that with me and just play that on the planes if I'm not watching anything on my tablet. But yes, there's no way of... I haven't tried using my PlayStation Portal when I'm away from home. So the PlayStation Portal is nice.
It's supposed to work now, isn't it?
It is supposed to work, but it still requires quite a dedicated high-speed network.
Okay. Yeah.
And even in the house, if I'm sitting here and the PlayStation 5 is in the other room and I'm playing on the Portal here, you do get moments where the network quality dips too low and then it just loses connectivity and it's a bit of a mess. So yeah, the Portal sits in the cabinet beside me here. Doesn't get a lot of love, but I might try taking that on some of my next trips and see if I can connect back home and fire up something and just see how it goes. Because that's what the device is intended to be used for, you know?
Yeah, so do you need your main PlayStation to be switched on?
Much like if you're...
for it to work, or?
It's got to be turned on, but it can be in sleep mode.
Oh, okay.
So,
that's good.
So as long as it's in sleep mode, you can say, you know, wake on LAN type connectivity, and it will fire it up, and then it'll establish the connection, and then you should be good to go. Yeah. Since the last episode, well, I celebrated a birthday as well. 57th.
Okay.
Yep. Managed to do it with no gaming-related purchases or gifts that might activate klaxons somewhere. I'm aware that the guys that I was talking about on the last episode that were threatening to gift me either Battlefield or Barbie's Dream House are now listening to the podcast. So hello, guys. We'll still see whether there's anything coming there. But yeah, my family they limited themselves to giving me Star Wars Lego and tickets to see Lloyd Cole when he comes back into town this week or next week.
Nice.
So looking forward to that. And hopefully this trip goes a bit better for Lloyd Cole than the last one, because he picked up a virus the day before his show, and the airline lost his guitar and then only delivered it 2 hours before he was due to go on stage. So he was not in the best of moods when he came on stage. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Lost guitar rather than lost weekend.
Exactly, yes.
Struggling to think of a song now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, speaking of which, what do you guys tend to listen to?
Rich?
Oh, that's a question, isn't it? I think so. I mean, I listen to quite a lot of drum and bass, and I don't know whether that's just come out of festival listening or whether it's come out of doing like running and stuff. I find the beat of a drum and bass is really good if I'm going out for a run. Mm-hmm. But the festival I go to is quite kind of it's a weird festival. So by day it's kind of world music. So lots of obscure. You'll get kind of like Pakistani, African, Jamaican music, all kinds of things through the day. So there's a real eclectic variety there. And then once it hits about 11 p.m, it just turns into a like savage kind of drum and bass and dubstep kind of mess. So I do enjoy a variety of stuff, and I build a playlist at this time of year every year with all of the artists that are listed to be at the Shambhala festival I go to in August, because I've never heard of any of them pretty much. So I build up a playlist and then listen through the year, so that when I'm at the festival, I'm like, oh yeah, I actually know these, and they're quite good. What about you, Brian?
So I grew up listening to heavy metal music. Was big into heavy metal music in my earlier days. Then I fell into my main love, which is indie alt rock. So stuff like the Pixies. Mm-hmm. Huge fan of that type of thing. And then into grunge, because that led off it. So Nirvana. But for some reason in the past 4 or 5 years, I've gotten into dance music, so back into trance and stuff like that. And hopefully no traffic cops listening to this, but I use it mainly to keep awake coming home from work. So I put it on, and Japanese people already think Gaijin and foreigners are pretty weird, but I'm in the car, dancing to in the car, listening to music, having it blaring, just to keep me awake as I'm going along. And actually, to all your listeners, there was a demonstration, but it's listening to music mainly these days to keep awake when I'm driving home from work. So I've really got into trance. So probably not the best to keep me awake, but the trance music. So loads and loads of trance music recently. But I put on a DJ. You can down. A lot of the DJs put podcasts up, just like an hour set or a 2 hour set. Put it on. That'll get me 1 hour. Will get me home. So that's great. Okay. It's a broad spectrum. I listen to a huge range of music.
I just have visions of. Do you remember a movie called Office Space?
Yes. Oh my god.
I just have visions of you doing that in your car. The start of the movie, the guy's like in his car and he's listening to like gangster rap or something, and he's being all like dancing and hardcore, and then some guy comes up to the window to ask for change, and he's like, no. Calms it down. I'm not a hardcore dude. I'm just an office worker who's meek and mild.
Exactly.
But yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, from my point of view, I'm definitely a child of the 80s. So it's usually all electronic and pop, so Depeche Mode and Erasure and U2, and then Lloyd Cole, as I say, and then you'll throw in the odd bit of Texas and Beautiful South and Paul Heaton and those guys. Definite child of the 80s. I'm sorry, Well, the only other thing I've done this month is I bought a new 3D printer, and I've upgraded from a single color one to it's a 4+1 color. So one of them is manually fed, and the other 4 are all automatically sort of fed through as the print demands it. And it's amazing how quickly that technology has changed since I got the one color model, which has only been like a year ago. the new one is just so much faster, so much more accurate, and so much higher quality prints than this one. So I'm looking forward to putting that through its paces.
How long does post take? How long does post take to get from Tasmania to England? Just thinking, Rich needs some widget for his gaming device.
Yeah.
So one of the things about printing things via 3D printer is the choice of material is very important. And so the cheapest material is something called PLA, which is a fairly soft, brittle plastic. And it wouldn't surprise me if they've printed those parts using PLA. But if you went to like what they call PETG, or if you went to ASA, these are much more hard-wearing, temperature-sensitive plastics that will last for much longer. And they do cost a little bit extra to print with them, but the quality that you get from them is just so much more usable and so much more worthwhile to do. So if you do need any, let me know, and I can see if I can find a model for it and print it out and post it to you.
Thank you kindly.
Yeah. All right. So that was all of my news. Shall we move on to...
So you mentioned ASA.
Yes.
That's what they do a lot. I love keyboards, like computer keyboards.
Yep.
They make a lot of keycaps on those.
They do, yes, because
ASA.
it's hard wearing.
Yeah.
Yep.
PBT and ASA, yeah. I knew I'd heard it before.
Right now, I'm busy printing a new case for one of my Raspberry Pis, and I've decided to print it so that it looks like an Oracle Exadata machine, which is a massive big server that usually sits in data centers.
Yeah.
But it's about a third of the way printed now. I'm just checking the progress, and it says it's done 243 layers out of 331.
Wow. But
it will take another 2 hours and 47 minutes to do the remainder 90 layers. So it's still not instantaneous, but it's so much quicker than the old one was,
Yeah. Do you have to do any finishing, like filing off or anything on the end just to smooth it out?
If you were to ramp up the speed and make it print a lot faster, then you would have to smooth out and finish it properly. If you slow that down, though, then the quality becomes a lot better. And as long as you write materials for things like supports and that sort of stuff, it reduces the amount of cleaning up you need to before you end up with a usable thing.
So you don't have like the old Airfix. When you used to do the Airfix and you break off the piece of plastic, there's like little bit that's going to stab you for the time that you had that plane or whatever. It's like, that's good. There's progress at last.
Yeah,
that's good.
I mean, the new thing with this one now is that you can actually have different materials for the supports from what you're printing the device out. And if you choose the right plastic combinations, it gives it the support while it's printing, but they don't bond together. So you don't end up with any marks on the finished surface because the other plastic is supporting it while it prints, but it's effectively just like an airbed that it's floating on when it prints. So
that's really nice.
It's finding those right mixes and combinations of materials to get the best result.
Oh, very good, very good.
So that's our activities this month. What have you both been playing? Rich, what have you been playing this month?
Yeah, so this month, not too many things, but I'll run through them. So every month I'm going to mention Arc Raiders, and I think shortly after we recorded last time, I had a good a three-way with Paul and Ben from last year's podcast. So we hopped on and jumped into a trio, which was a lot of good fun. I've been on a Saturday night. I play with my mate Kev, who's part of the community as well. And I got a lovely message from my little sister who lives out in Australia, and she sent me a message with a screenshot of Arc Raiders one Saturday morning a couple of weeks ago. And she's like, look what I've done. And I was like, oh my goodness, she's playing it. So I immediately booted up. And much like our recording time now, morning UK and evening your time, she was on a late night Arc Raiders session. So I managed to have a really nice catch up with my little sister whilst we were topside in Arc Raiders. So that was good fun, although I haven't played it for a fortnight. So maybe the initial excitement is starting to just tail off a tiny bit. My usual dose of Rocket League. So Brian joined me in my stream last night where I was slamming back a little bit of bourbon and just generally playing Rocket League and listening to drum and bass. So that was fun. And then I finished 2 games, which is good. So the first of the 2 is Air Memories of Old, which, Stuart, you talked about last time we recorded. So I've played and finished that. So I know, Brian, you're probably going to talk about it as well, but
Go for it.
I'll give my views and then we'll see how they compare with yours. So I found it, so the positives, I found it to be a very nice morning game. So if you're kind of a little bit tired, cup of coffee on the go, just want to kind of have a bit of a chill, floating and flying around, doing a bit of exploring kind of experience. It was good. It was a bit more involved than I'd expected after having heard you talk about it, Stuart. So I think you might have, I don't know whether you blasted through it quite quickly, whether I'm just a bad gamer, but I started off and because you'd gone through it quickly, I was kind of expecting it to be really quick and easy. And I think as soon as I started, literally the first instruction I was given, go east or whatever. And I found the place I was meant to go, and there was some clue about something under the waterfalls. And there's this island suspended in the sky with waterfalls going off the side of it. And I must have spent half an hour flying under the island behind the waterfalls looking for where this freaking clue was. So I didn't have a good first experience with it because I couldn't find the blooming thing. And it was only when I gave up and went, I'll just go somewhere else, that the first kind of next place that I went to was actually where I was meant to be. So I got a bit cross with it early doors. But then I played through it, and actually the puzzling in it was quite good. So you just kind of fly to different islands and different places, and there'd be little clues and little buttons you had to press, and sort of semi-maze-like, almost like dungeons, weren't there, in it?
Yeah.
So I found it quite a pleasant experience. I think the things that jarred with me was that you'd use the same button to interact with things, to jump, and then if you pressed it again when you were jumping, you'd fly.
Yeah.
So I'd quite often be trying to do one thing and I'd end up zooming off, and that kind of stuff. And I did find, whilst the kind of in-flight stuff was quite mellow, I do like a floating and flying around kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
But I found the transition from when you're flying to when you're trying to land somewhere, I don't know whether I just got no skills, but trying to land this bloody character, I basically had to just crash land into the islands, which kind of jarred from the experience of it all being chill and mellow, because every kind of 30 seconds I'd be like, right, brace, and then crash land into the island. But I persisted with it and got to credits, and I did have a thoroughly nice time. I always, when I'm playing a game on stream, and I let the credits roll and I have a little think and I give it my score out of 10. And if I'm honest, it probably only gets a 5 or a 6 out of 10.
Okay.
But I think we're so accustomed to that, associating that kind of a score with being, it must be trash. It's a 5 or 6 out of 10, and it's a perfectly serviceable 5 or 6 out of 10. It's not a game I'd go out and say everyone must play it. Yeah. But if you've got a couple of hours and it's in your backlog, then it's perfectly serviceable. So that one is now done and ticked off, uninstalled. And then I finished another one called She Sees Red, which is one of these kind of FMV story kind of games where it basically, choose your own adventure. You'll essentially be watching a movie, and then a choice will come up as to what you do. And then you click a button, and then it'll branch off into the next part of the story. Okay. So I expect, in particular, Stuart, it'll be the kind of game that drives you mad because you're like, I've done 10 inputs, and then I've finished the game. But for a lazy gamer like me, it's perfect because I can just sit down, essentially watch a movie, and feel like I'm interacting with it. And I've played a fair few of these over the years. And actually, this one, even though it is very short, is done a lot better. The early ones that I played, whenever you got to a decision point, the whole thing would kind of stop. And then when you made your choice, you'd kind of get this kind of conscious loading of the next bit, and it would be not a seamless experience at all. You'd really feel the way that the game was constructed. Whereas this one was filmed really beautifully. And the transitions when you've made a choice would just flow really nicely. So it really was like watching a movie. Like, I think Netflix did one, didn't they? I think it was Bandersnatch.
Yeah, Bandersnatch. Yep.
That's right.
Where you just you'd sit there with your controller and you'd make choices, and it was it was kind of not as good as that, but it was really well done. It was done in Russian language. You could have a very bad dub, or you could have it in native Russian with subtitles. So I went for the authentic experience. So there's lots of scary Russian folk based in a nightclub. So there's lots of booming music and interesting lights. And I found it really good fun. It was a romp. It's one of these where you can go back and get multiple endings depending on the choices that you'd made. But for me, that I always find that contrived. I like to play these games once, get my ending, make my choices, and not go back and see what would have happened if I'd done something different, because that would have felt like busy work, just like grinding through to see all the alternatives. So I got that one finished and again uninstalled. And then there's two others that I've tried, and I'm a little bit frustrated because I've got my Lenovo Legion Go handheld, and the way I'd seen this year panning out would be that I'd install a bunch of stuff on the handheld, give it a kind of first try, first half an hour of a game, have a little look, see if that's something that I'd like, and then if I do like it, either start again or proceed on the desktop and probably on a stream. But so many of the games in the Epic library don't have cloud saves. I finally got to the bottom of it. I was struggling with a couple, thinking it just wasn't doing it properly. But now I found the settings in each individual game. I think if you right click or go into the menu options of the specific game rather than Epic itself, and whether it's manage options or settings or whatever, but you will see there is a cloud save option that only shows if that game supports it. Right. So I've run into the problem a few times and thought it isn't working, and I've tried to kind of like reboot things and change settings and all of this kind of stuff, and I finally got to the bottom of it. And so there's two games that I've done this kind of process with. So one is Into the Breach, and the other is Backpack Hero, both of which I'm really liking, and actually played a good few hours of each on the handheld and thought, great, this is good. I'm going to carry on desktop, and I can't do it. So they'll be confined to kind of off-stream handheld sessions, and I'll probably talk more about them in future episodes. I'll just mention what they are. So Into the Breach is a kind of like a mini XCOM. It's really highly rated, and you essentially load onto a map. You've got 3 characters that you control that have got different attributes, and a bunch of enemies that are trying to destroy you and destroy buildings. And you've got a little task each time, fend off the enemy for however many turns, or destroy all the enemies, or protect this particular part of the map. And you just have your turns. Everybody's got, a certain amount of movement and a certain amount of damage they can do. And it's very puzzly, very, very puzzly. It's quite a small grid that you're on, so you're not marching around. It's almost like chess, almost like those chess puzzles you get in the newspaper. But it's really good, very addictive, and it's kind of a little bit roguelite as well, in that you'll do a run, you'll die, and it's kind of all over. But for the start of your next run, you can maintain one of your 3 characters from the previous run. So what you'll find is that you do your first run, you die pretty much instantly, but you can keep whichever of the characters you'd managed to get the most progress on, and then your next run you'll do a bit better. And then as you go through the levels, you get various perks, doing more damage, moving further, or whatever it might be. So it's kind of rewarding the replay thing. It might have been quite frustrating otherwise, but I'm finding myself strengthening up. So I'm going to play more of that. And then Backpack Hero is a really cute little game. It's like a deck builder. So in the same sort of vein as Slay the Spire, and that 6-sided dice game, I can't remember the name, Astrea, that I talked about in January. But there's no cards. So you essentially got a backpack that starts with a 3x3 grid, and you'll have a 1x2 sword, a 2x2 shield, and a 1x2 meal in your backpack. So it starts off full, and then you go through a dungeon and make choices about where you go, and it might be an enemy or it might be a treasure chest, etc. And you've got to proceed through a dungeon, go through your encounters and then kind of escape the other side of it. But rather than collecting cards, what happens when you're in battle is you've got a certain amount of energies, and you just click on things in your backpack. So your sword might cost 1 energy to use, the food might replenish your energy, and the shield will give you some kind of block attributes, but will have a cost to using it. And then as you go through, you build up more backpack space, and you find more things that can go in your backpack, and all of the things have different attributes. And quite a lot of it is all about the organization of the backpack. So you might have heavy items that when you put them in the backpack, they sink to the bottom, and light items that float to the top. And there's all sorts of like, if this is adjacent to that, then the other thing will get a perk. So it ends up being this kind of interesting packing experience. But it's just a really nice, novel way of delivering the kind of usual variety you get in that kind of game, but in a totally different way.
Yeah,
so that's another one that I'll be playing more of. And that's it for me in the last 3 weeks. Yeah.
Okay. And no klaxons, no?
No klaxons. Although, I mean, I might get to it in the questions. I found myself yesterday feeling very, very stuck with what to play. And so I've had this little slap around the face of reality about what this year might entail. So I think I've got through that initial period of like, oh, this is fun. You know, old games are the new games.
Uh-huh.
Whereas now I'm just stuck with the same old games. And I'm starting to... Cause I played Rocket League last night because I couldn't find anything else that I wanted to play, which would have normally been a purchase. So more on that in a bit. But yeah, it's getting real.
What level are you at?
What level in Rocket League? So there's two different things. So there's your general ranking, which is your, you know, basically how skilled you are and who you match against. So I'm at diamond level there. And then there's a XP level, which is, you know, how many goals you've scored and how many games you've played. And I'm embarrassingly level 3,348. If I look at my stats, I've played too much of my life, like a genuine, you know, you start looking at things like how long have you been married? It's kind of up there with that kind of thing.
Yeah, like I watched you last night playing, and I have tried the game, and I realized quite quickly I am extremely bad at this game. But watching you play, you like you and your teammate, whoever, I don't know if it was Rando or somebody you knew, you were really good playing this. It was really impressive to watch a game and two players play. So you were covering the back a lot while he was trying to do it at the front, and you were covering. It was really good. It worked really well. I was quite impressed with it because I don't usually watch the game because I'm crap at the game. Why would I watch it? But yeah, it was really good to watch you. I learned a lot about the game. It was quite
levels
good.
Within it. Yeah, there's levels within it. So like my boy started playing it, and he's at the very kind of base levels of bronze, and it's frustrating to watch him play because it's like, oh, why would you do that? And oh, you need to jump earlier and all of this kind of stuff. And then you like once you put in tons of hours, you get to my level where you can do things relatively competently. But there's levels and levels and levels and levels above where it just gets to the stage where people who are really good looks like they're playing an entirely different game. Because everything they do is airborne, and I don't know how they'd manage it with, you know, you've only got a certain amount of boost, but they've just mastered the controls to such a level that they're literally playing on a different dimension to everyone else.
Yeah,
it's insane.
It was really, I found it impressive anyway. Watching yesterday, it was quite good, very good. Yeah,
so
put me to
that
shame
game
anyway.
that you mentioned, which was the full motion video one. Are you 100% fluent in Russian?
I'm not.
Okay, but enough to get by on the game, yeah?
Well, no. It was subtitled. It was subtitled. So I had the Russian language just so it felt authentic. But no, the only words I know is I can say "Coffee, пожалуйста," which means coffee, please. That's about all I can do.
Right. Okay.
You should have gone "Niet" instead of "No."
Yeah.
I think it's no.
Yeah.
What have I been playing? So I haven't played much. I've played some Balatro, mainly on the planes, flying backwards and forwards. I think everybody knows what Balatro is. It's a poker type of game. You've got to try and collect as many points as you can using the deck that you're given, and you could get boosts and stuff like that. I don't know what it is with the game, but I play it rarely for many reasons. I can't get into it for some reason. I have no idea what's going on. You're given random hands, and I don't understand. I know you get a boost and you get a joker, and there's all these different things, but I can't do it. I know the whole just make the numbers go up, and that's all you have to do. But for the life of me, I just cannot get into it. And I'm not going to say the game's boring. It's just it doesn't. There's nothing in it that compels me to go back. And I know this game took over people's lives because it was huge, and people still love the game. I put a lot of hours in it, but I cannot for the life of me see what's in it. But anyway, that was Balatro. You mentioned Air Memories of Old. So the game revolves around somebody called Oak who can shapeshift in a bird. It's set on floating islands. The main character must solve puzzles and discover runes. Where to start? Let me see. The game is really pretty. I liked the graphics. Really good. Did you guys play this with controller or mouse and keyboard or what? Controllers, yeah.
Controller.
So I played mouse and keyboard stupidly, I think, because it's a nightmare. It took me too long to figure out that pulling back on the mouse, all it did is make your character look up, and it didn't change direction for flight. So I was plummeting, and I wasn't going any place. So it took me too long. So A and D, left and right, WS, up and down. But the mouse is just viewing. I found the flying to be extremely awkward with the keyboard. And you mentioned trying to land. I would just try to get above the island and then hit the button to stop you flying and just plummet down to the ground.
Just
and then
free fall.
half the time miss the island and start flying again and go around again and try to do it again over and over. It was so frustrating. That's about that. Then the directions in the game. At the very start of the game, you're told you have to go to the lighthouse. I don't know about you, but lighthouses tend to have a light at the top of a house, a big tall bit tower. There's usually a light at the top, and like it's in the name. But the lighthouse in this game doesn't. It's just a big tall tower. But they said, like, follow the kites and it'll bring you to the lighthouse. So I was going round and round and round and round looking for this lighthouse. And then I would, maybe it's way over there. So I started exploring way off the first set of islands, looking for this island, for this thing. It can't be out there. So I went on Google to try and find out where the lighthouse was, only to find out it's on the next island from where you started. So I had to go all the way back. And then you got to the bottom of the lighthouse, and there's no characters there. I'm like, who am I supposed to talk to? So I eventually explored the whole island, and you find somebody who's at a campfire a bit away from it. So I got slightly frustrated with the game, to say the least.
Okay. Did either of you see in the game, though, that if you're flying around as a bird and you look in the sky, there's the points of interest are a different colour?
No.
It's like a beam of light that goes up into the sky. Did you not see that?
No.
Yeah. Eventually.
Okay.
But not initially. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I was just lucky that I spotted that first off and went, I'm going to go there.
So, like,
Yeah. And I think there's some subtle hints with the kind of like vapor trails as well. I feel like
exactly.
the vapor trails and wind directions are kind of signposting you, but it's kind of not obvious. So I think when you first see all this stuff, you just think that that's a feature of the whole environment rather than a clue.
True, very subtle, yeah.
Well, okay. Well, that sort of ruins my opinion. Obviously, it was too subtle for me. That's like, because I have down here. My next thing is the game could be easily improved if they have destination markers on the map or on the compass, because I could not find anything. I was just going round and round, and then went to Google to try, what does the next section look like? I was like, oh, okay, I'll go there. But so I got extremely frustrated with it, and just but maybe I'll go back and have a look and see if I can. Now you said that there is actually indications of where you're supposed to go. I can't. Oh my god!
I think it's okay for us to hate games that we play.
Oh, of course, yeah. No, we're not all going to love every game. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, okay. Anyway, that's that game. I played God of War Ragnarok. I hope everybody knows what that is, but apparently it's the 9th installment in the series, the 10th chronologically. I don't know how that is, but there you go. That's from Wikipedia. I looked up earlier. The game is magnificent. It's brilliant. I love the God of War T18, I think it is the previous one. The game is brilliant. It's huge. It distracted me with so many side quests that I wanted to check out, and they really leap off in the end when you do it. You got more story in the background. You got not just armor and stuff, but it's actually paid off pretty well with the story and emotions that play through in the game. I did avoid doing the Berserkers, which are basically the equivalent of the Valkyries in the first game.
Yeah.
So that's, if you're going for platinum or whatever, I have doing them. But I have completed the game, and the most of the side quests, and they were pretty excellent overall. The sound in the game was excellent. The spatial audio, you can hear characters that might be on a different level, it might be behind walls or something. You know that they're before you get there. It's really good. The battles were brilliant. They were really challenging, and you can set at different levels. I didn't play too much with the levels difficult, but what I remember from 2018, some of the tougher battles, they go on for a while. They're really good. They're not cruel, and you're not going to lose just because of a stupid mistake. You have Mimir giving you hints and stuff, one of the characters. But it is really, really good. What wasn't great, the game can get frustrating in places. One level is so lush vegetation that trying to find hidden passageways or trying to get to the next section is really difficult because you can't see them. It's not quite that they're hidden behind trees, but it feels like it a lot of the time. And just, you can't figure out where you can climb, or you can see places you can get to, and you can get there because there's treasure chests, but the way to get there is by basically walking well away from that area and finding another route back. I found that quite frustrating. But that means that the game is really good. For all the story, it meanders a little bit, especially in the middle. When you're playing, you start to wonder why you're doing what you're doing. They give you goals and stuff, but the story isn't complicated, but they sort of lose why they're doing or why you're doing what you're doing. The world itself is extremely pretty, but it is really just one big long corridor. Each world you go to is just one long corridor, and there's interesting side rooms on them. Now, they don't look like rooms because it looks like it's open world and stuff, but it is basically just a big wide room of a wide corridor. So you're going into enclosed sections every time.
Did it annoy you that the tree isn't fully opened up? You know the tree that takes you to the different worlds?
Oh, yes, yeah.
There are sections of that tree that you just never get to go to those points of it. And you think,
yes,
come on, was that supposed to be DLC? When's that going to open? And they just never did anything with it. It was always locked off. And that annoyed me a wee bit. Yeah,
I think maybe there's going to be DLC. Well, there was going to be DLC, but at the moment now it's not going to happen. It doesn't look like any.
No.
You never know with Sony. Maybe they'll open and hire back Blue Point and do it. I don't know. It's there is 2 endings in the game. There's when you hit the first set of credits going up, if you keep you can play while the credits are going, which hopefully people found was odd, but you can keep or wandering around and talking to characters. And if you do, you get told to try and go to something which if you've liked any of the characters the way through, you'll probably go along to afterwards. I'm trying not to get into spoilers. If you keep playing and go to this occasion that happens afterwards, there's a huge emotional payoff for that, and it brings you to the true ending. At the end of it, you start to think, what would have happened next with Kratos and Atreus, and who's going to be the next bad guy or whatever in it, because things change, and I don't know. I found it really, really good and quite emotional at the end.
Yeah, good.
It was quite a good game, I have to admit. The original game is tighter. There's far less fat about, but the ending doesn't hit anywhere near as well. And I'm so happy to see that Atreus has finally grown up and is not that whiny little git anymore. So 1.5 games is that whiny git. Very good game. I would love to have seen them go. I hope ultimately they will go further with it, but you never know. Well, unlikely probably. Let me see. It's here. What will I do next? Okay, Arc Raiders. I mentioned this in the in the chat. I bought Arc Raiders. I want to play Arc Raiders. Do not make me sell and have to manage my the crap that I've picked up. I know it's my own fault. I picked up so much crap. Now, I do free loadouts because I'm too scared of losing my loadout. So, and then it wouldn't let me play because I have too much stuff in my inventory. I had to go and watch videos on what I should keep, what I should sell, how to spot the difference between what's crap, what's valuable, how to highlight what you need to keep for missions or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, I just want to play the freaking game. Let me play. If they could get rid of the inventory and just let me go out and start shooting people, that's really good. And Arc Raiders is excellent. The tension when you play is so good. The tension just builds with it because you don't know who's going to come against you. There's another Arc Raider or Arc Raider or an Arc, basically. And it's I find the game extremely tense. My wife can hear me playing this game, coming down, and she's like, "Stop! What are you doing?" Because she can hear me fretting about while I'm playing the game. I'm just like, yeah. So no, the game is brilliant. Just let me play the game, please. But anyway, yeah. So I finally extended my inventory. I've got another 24 slots, so I can go playing until I fill them up, and I will do. It's good. And then the final thing I played is a small bit of Blueprints.
Oh yes.
Okay.
That came out free last year, day one, and somebody on Reddit or something said day one games on PS Now or PS Plus only tend to last a year, and they should be leaving soon. So I thought, let's open it up and try it. If you haven't played it, I took this off Wikipedia as well. The game challenges the player to explore a mansion with ever-shifting rooms, and they change every day. So you basically go from one room to the next, and you get a choice of 3 rooms that you can pick. As you build out your floor plan, there are 45 rooms in the mansion, and your challenge is to get to the 46th. Let's be awkward about it, yeah. So there's loads of puzzles and stuff in the game to play. And this may be indicative of my state of mind, but I do love puzzle games, I swear. I found it extremely frustrating as well. Like the first run through, I got to this. The map is 45, so you got 5 by 9.
It's nine
grid.
fives or whatever.
Yeah, that's it, yeah. And then you've got the one extra room that you're trying to get to. So I got as far as the 6th level back on it, so I thought my first one, this is really good. And then you just sort of end up with loads of closed doors, and every time I go back, I lost a lot any further because I got closed doors. I couldn't progress, so the day ended. But every time I go back, I don't get anywhere near as far. I had one run, I think it was 33 steps. I had only one choice of, all my doors are closed except for one, so I open it up and I get a choice of 3 rooms. 2 of them are basically dead ends. So you got, I don't know, a bedroom or a closet or something. And then the other one was give me a choice of 3 exits. I thought, that's brilliant. 1 out of 3 have got to be open, so I can go further. But the problem with the room, you lose half your steps. I think it's the gym. So you lose half your steps when you walk in. So my 33 dropped down to 16 or 15. I walk in and all 3 doors are locked. I'm like, oh my God, no keys. I can't buy keys because I haven't got enough coins. So I'm stuck. That's just the end of the game. So I have to go redo it again. I'm finding it frustrating. Mm-hmm. I don't think there's music in the game at all. Because it's just...
There's kind of semi-atmospheric music, but it comes on and off. You might want to look in settings.
Yes.
But
no, you're right. Yeah,
I found the music to be quite subtle, but it's nice because it does start playing, and you're like, oh, what is happening?
There's something
now?
here.
It seems to it seems to come on at the right moments.
I've solved some of the puzzles, the dartboard and stuff, because I found the magnifying glass, and I learned some things that I want to go back and play it now, but I'm finding it extremely frustrating. I had thought maybe play a podcast on being, but then I won't be doing either. Not the podcast. I won't be doing the game justice. No, but I thought I would like a bit more music in it. But it is good. It's just extremely frustrating or extremely cruel. So I know people played in many hours.
It's a super interesting game, and I there's so much I want to say to you, but it's difficult because that's part of the secrets of the game. I think the one thing that I'd suggest is if in your mindset you don't treat it like I'm going to finish it this run. Yeah. Treat it very much like a roguelike. And whatever you do on any run, like take note of what you're doing and what you're learning, and if you try different things on each run, it will pay back. Even if it comes to nothing on that run, things will slot into place. And it because I was the same. I started playing it on holiday on a handheld, and I was treating it very much like I need to get to the end of the path, and every run I was trying to strategize, how can I get to the end on this run? And it was only after I'd failed a lot of times and sort of similar kind of frustration, I was like, oh, this is really hard, and is this just RNG as to whether I'm going to do it?
Yeah.
And then just through kind of volume of playing, it suddenly clicked that actually it didn't matter whether I got to the end, because I learned something new and like fundamental. And it's like, now I've got to play again because I know something different now. And that payback keeps happening. It's not like one or two times. That payback keeps happening, and you're like, holy shit, this is a completely different beast to what I thought it was 2 hours ago.
Okay, I will go back. Yeah, I'm aware there's like huge amount of game, and then when you finish the game, there's more game afterwards. But I was getting frustrated. Maybe it's, as you say, like treated like a roguelite, or like a Souls game. You just expect that you're going to die, and then you die, you learn.
100%, and it also pays to have a notebook to hand, because you'll learn things and you'll see things that there's no chance that you'll remember. I ended up with an Excel spreadsheet, and I was screen grabbing stuff and just putting like I've seen this piece of paper and this looks very useful, but I have no idea what for, and I'd just dump everything on there, and it became almost like a detective game in the end. Like, this is no spoilers, but the way I was playing it's like a detective game, because it's like I've got so much evidence and I don't know when I'm going to need it, but I know that this might be helpful sometime.
Okay, I just have visions of next month when we record, we'll have Brian with the board behind him with all the red thread going from screenshot to screenshot,
Yeah. I'll have my deerstalker hat on.
Yeah.
Smoking my Rathbone pipe. But yeah. Sorry, that's showing my age that he's the Sherlock I think of. But, But yeah, so the game's good. That time I ended up in that room I thought, edits free, there's got to be one open, and they didn't. I almost lost it. So I'll go back. Yeah. I'm learning each time. It'll be my new mantra. Yeah. Okay, so, but that's all I've played, I think. Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Right.
Yourself?
So I've got about 10 games on my list this month. The first two are Baldur's Gate and Clair Obscura, which I'm still, pushing through, just ticking over. They get the odd bit of love every now and then. The weekly Racing Fun with Mates, I haven't managed to attend many of the weekly episodes or sessions this month because I've been, traveling a bit and busy with work meetings and so on. But Wreckfest is still up there. I think I managed to play one game this month with them. Still loads of fun. Still nowhere near the front of the queue on every race. I'm always last, but enjoying being last.
Do you all play the same car?
No, God, no. No, everyone, the other guys know exactly what car goes with what track, and I just pick one and floor it and see how far I get, and end up in this crumpled wreck at the end of the game.
Just take out the bus and go the wrong way around and frustrate everybody.
Yeah, I've got the massive big truck as well. It's always fun to go on the truck when everyone else is in minis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the standard sort of. I think those three games are going to be near the top of the list for most of the next sort of 9 months that we got left. Mm-hmm. But I then moved on to my list of ones that I want to work through, and the first one I picked was Batman: The Telltale series. And back to Rich's comment about me not being a fan of these sorts of games. In my notes that I've written beside each of these games that I played, I've got 3 words written down, and it just says "bored me shitless," because I honestly, I didn't see the point in this. It was just watching the story and clicking A or clicking B every so often, and I went through all. I think is there 5 or 6 episodes in the thing?
Yeah, I think 5. Yeah.
So I went through all of them, got to the end, but it's off the list now. And I should have known, because Telltale games in the past, I've tried a couple of them and they're just not for me. I understand, that they're quite rich storylines and the story does branch as you make the various decisions, but not the sort of game that I plan on playing much of. So that was one that was completed, but not enjoyed. The second game I then moved on to was I went back to Brigador, which I think I've mentioned on some of our previous episodes. It's like a 3D or what's it? Isometric view map where you're given either a mech or a tank or something else, and you're told to go and do a mission on the map. And basically, the mission equates to blow everything you see up and don't get killed yourself. So I'm enjoying playing it. I mean, it's the menus are fairly rough. The game itself is fairly rough. It's certainly not a AAA polished title. And it's not the same game, but it definitely gives me Syndicate Satellite Rain type vibes. I think it's the isometric view. It's the fact that it's in the future. The style of the graphics that they've selected are quite Syndicate looking. And I'm about 50% of the way through the campaign on that one, but enjoying it. It's really worthwhile having a look at if you like those sort of futuristic isometric style games. And then I moved on to playing Sackboy: A Big Adventure, which I know was I think it was a monthly game last year.
Yes, it was.
Again, it gives Little Big Planet vibes, obviously, because it's a Sackboy game. It gives Astrobot vibes as well, because the style of the music and the style of the graphics are very Astrobot-ish, and I love the music. Any game that's got Depeche Mode as a theme song for one of the levels is always going to get an award in my book. But the later levels are hard as nails. Man, it was brutal. But I finished it, and so I got.
Well done.
Was it?
You finished
credits? Yep.
Oh, well done. I got so frustrated with that game.
So did I. Yeah, like I say, those last levels really, you end up playing the same level just over and over and over again, trying to beat the damn thing. But got all the way through, rolled the credits. Post credits, there's like another world that opens up. I didn't go and do that, but rolled credits, it counts as a completion in my book.
Yeah.
The 7th game I selected, again, is one that has been on the list there. I don't know where it came from on my list. It certainly must have been a freebie, because I don't recall ever buying it. It's one called, is it Excel or Zell? Or, yeah, it might be Zell, because the reviews of it say it's a Zelda clone, but it's spelled X-E-L. I didn't get Zelda vibes from it, though. I mean, if anything, it gave me the same sort of vibes as that. There was a Tomb Raider game that came out that was like an isometric viewpoint. Was it Tomb Raider and the Staff of Osiris or something like that? One of those.
Yes.
Yes.
I think it was like a mobile game that moved to the various platforms after it was published. This has got the same sort of vibe as that. It's honestly, the game itself is a bit of a buggy mess. I kept falling through the world map. I couldn't even start the final stage of it until I dropped the graphics quality down a notch. I was running it in high plus, and I had to drop it down to high just to get the actual final level to trigger. The voice acting and the story are complete garbage. The map's annoying. But
apart from that.
But despite all of that, I actually enjoyed playing it, and I completed it as well. It only took like
well done.
10 and a bit hours to complete. But yeah, I'm probably not doing the best to sell it.
Yeah. But you said all that about the graphics not being, well, not great, the bugs and stuff, and you still spend 10 hours in the game.
Yeah. Well, I'd
Fair
already
play to
started.
you.
I might as well finish it, There's one or two of the little, you find these little chests scattered around the world, and you have to open them up to unlock various things. And two of the chests, every time I triggered the opening action, I would just plummet through the world and just fall to my death.
Like a trapdoor rather than a chest.
And it turned out I had to stand 2 pixels further to the left than I was standing when I triggered the opening, and it was like, come on, I mean, really, honestly. But you work your way through it. You get to the end in the end, and you roll credits. So once I'd done that, I then thought, okay, let's go back to the old retro list that I've got, and let's work through some of those. And I thought, what would be great is if I could finish playing Boulder Dash on the Commodore 64. So I fired up Boulder Dash, and I realized that my reflexes are about 20 years too old to play this game. Because I got through the first 6 or so levels, and then beyond that, it was just, not going to happen. I couldn't do it. So I closed that down, and I went looking for an Amstrad CPC 464 game, found Alien 8 by Ultimate from 1985. I had played this in the past, but never got anywhere near finishing it. And it's a bit like, and again, there seems to be a pattern here. My style of game that I enjoy playing seems to be isometric 2.5D type games. This is another one of those. You start off as a little robot in space. You go through individual rooms. You've got to have pixel perfect jump requirements. But it's a fun game. I did have to use fast save, fast load, and a published game map, which I don't think the game map existed back in 1985, 86, 87 when I would have been playing it, in order to work my way through to the end. But I got to the end, saw the end screen. There's no real credits that roll on these games because they were produced by a team of 2 people, so there's no point doing credits for that. But you get the end screen. It tells you finished it, and so that's another one on the list of games that were completed.
Well done.
Great stuff.
And then I thought, let's look at some Amiga 500 games, because when it comes to retro games, the Amiga 500 is certainly up there as having some of the best games around for that generation. So I loaded up Xenon 2 Mega Blast. Anyone that ever owned an Amiga would have most definitely had this game. There's no way in hell you're ever going to finish it. Impossible to finish it, because some of those levels are just bullet hell. It's a vertical scrolling shoot 'em up.
Okay, yeah.
With all the power ups and things that you would normally expect from a game in the arcades at the time. The difference from this one though is that not only does it scroll up, but you can actually scroll down if you want to, so you can go backwards through the map and then revert back and go up a different stream. So some of the levels will branch, and you end up getting to a dead end, and you have to come back a bit and then go back up and go up the other stream. So a great sort of quality of game, definitely. The soundtrack blew people's minds back in 1989, and I know I shared you guys that I was playing this game. I don't know if any of you went and looked at the video of it. It's the soundtrack was done by Bomb the Bass.
Amazing.
It's a really good song. It really gets you going. Bloody hard game, but lots of fun. So I really enjoyed my time with that one, but never ever going to be able to complete it.
Not with that attitude, anyway.
Yeah, so that was my games. Yep. So right now, I mean, in terms of games completed this year, I've just hit 12 of them completed, which is probably about 12 more than I thought I would do.
That's amazing.
There's not a lot on there that I would have looked at sort of before doing this exercise. So in terms of, is it worthwhile doing? I still think that I'm really enjoying myself doing this. And I'm certainly playing a lot of games that I wouldn't have played otherwise. But yeah, that was my month. So, Brian, what are your plans to play next? Anything?
Thank goodness you're here. I've opened up. I'm going to have a look at that for next month.
Good game. Very good.
Hopefully, yeah, you were saying that it's quite fun. Everybody said it's funny, and I'm, of course, morbid fear that I'll go in and think, no, this is not funny. This is crap. How could these people think this is funny? And I played their previous game on the Unforgotten Garden, is it, or something?
Mm-hmm.
I did look it up earlier. But the humor quite over the top, quite gross, and quite... have any of you played their previous game?
No.
I don't think I did, no.
It's unique. That's what it's very, very unique. It is very... The Good Time Garden is what it's called.
Okay.
It's a game that's very moist. Let's put it like that. The Good Time Garden. It's free on Steam if anybody wants to play it.
Okay.
Would I recommend it? I'm not sure, but this is interesting to play. I'm not even going to try and describe it. Just go watch a video of it.
I'm reading the blurb now, and the blurb on Steam says, explore a throbbing pink world full of strange naked creatures to gather food for your friend in this short, surreal experience.
Yes.
That's a game you cannot play on a plane, is it?
No. No. It's, oh God, it's unique, definitely unique. And it's full of the really weird sounds. Yeah, you're not going to play it. You'll be playing with headphones anyway. So go play this game. Somebody, The Good Time Garden is their previous game. And I reckon this, from what I played a little bit of it, sounds or looks a bit like that, except it's less pink. But yeah, so I'm looking for playing that, and hopefully it'll be funny. I hope so. I'm going to play more Blueprints, and I think I'll go to Witcher 3.
Cool.
People told me that, but I think I'll play more Witcher 3. I'm not quite halfway through it, but I'll play a bit more of that. I think that's what's going to take my interest next. We'll see.
Well, thank goodness you're here. I mean, there's a lot of subtle humor happening in it, so you have to look at what's happening on the screen, because things change from you entering a screen one time to the next.
Oh, okay.
It is very funny. I mean, there's a hint of Viz style humor in there.
Yes.
You know, you definitely get the idea that these guys have read Viz at least, so it's a little bit crude, it's a little bit funny, but yeah, it's enjoyable.
The characters' voices are quite good, so I've enjoyed that bit. Well, I've seen them anyway, so yeah, it's good.
Excellent.
So, how about you, Rich? What are you going? Any plans for games?
Yeah, so I've got myself about halfway through Mafia 2, which I'm really enjoying. So I think I'll press on with that a little bit. And then I was saying earlier in my kind of epic cloud saves adventures, I have found some games that will play both on the handheld and on the PC and save between the two. And Outer Worlds is on there, which is a game that I have started and enjoyed and inexplicably fell off a few years back. So I might well fire that one up.
Nice.
As well as carrying on with a bit of Backpack Hero and Into the Breach, but that'll be handheld only. Yep. So I think those will be my areas of focus. I landed on Outer Worlds because I mentioned I'd kind of got that feeling of I feel like I need something new to play. So that almost counts as new. It's so long since I played it that I've forgotten the plot, so I can go back to it and start again.
Okay.
And you, Stu?
So again, continuing through with Baldur's Gate and Claire, Obscure. I had a look through the list, and there's one on it called Contra Rogue Corp, which I'm probably about 60% of the way through. So I'll try and focus on finishing that one up on the PS4. We Happy Few is on my playlist, and I've never looked at that one. So I might try and get into that one next month.
I know that name.
Yeah, I think it was briefly banned here because it's all about taking drugs or something, which the Australian government frowned upon. But it's on my list somehow. I don't know how it got there again, so I'll have a look at it. And then see what I can find on the old list, and dig something up from there so that I can balance it out. And that's about it for me. Let's move on to what we've been watching, reading, and doing. So, watching. Brian, what you been watching, reading, and doing?
I watched Predator Badlands. Have you seen this?
It's on my list for this month as well. Yep.
It is, yeah. I know Paul mentioned it last year, and I caught it on one of my plane journeys, so I'm watching on a plane screen. But not sure what to say about it. It's like an action revenge movie, and it was pretty okay. As a Predator movie, I found it to be slightly disappointing.
Yeah.
To me, the Predator is this mysterious person that you don't understand. All you know is there to kill. A bit like Terminator. So there's no backstory. You don't know his motivation or whatever. But this turned into an underachieving teenager movie, and he was just trying to do good. And it was a little bit different to what I wanted. If it hadn't been about the Predator, it might have been a good movie. But I don't know. I prefer the Predator when you don't know what's going on. But I know they're building the lore and the background for the whole thing. But I don't know. I found it slightly disappointing, ultimately, because it wasn't what I wanted out of a Predator movie. But as an action flick, it's quite good.
Yep.
I watched another movie called Play Dirty. This is with Mark Wahlberg. He's a ruthless thief, and his expert crews stumble on the heist of a lifetime, bossing a mob boss. That's what the blurb says. Don't know if you know Tony Shalhoub, his name. I think it's his name. He was Monk in the TV series.
Yep.
Every time I see him, he sort of plays the same type of character. Slightly weird, but he's as good as usual. He's quite good, but the movie is basically mind-numbing bubblegum. It's not really that good. Actually, no, it's more like if the bubblegum was crap flavored. But I would say best avoided. It's really dreadful. Actually, to be honest, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was a dreadful movie. Right. Don't watch it. Don't even search it. Avoid the movie altogether. If anybody has a different view about this, I don't care. And send it to idon'tcare@gmail.com because you're fucking wrong. It was dreadful. Let me see. I also watched on the plane an anime called Look Back. It's a Japanese anime, as the name anime would suggest. It was made by the people who made Chainsaw Man, which would make you think it's a totally different type of movie. Chainsaw Man's all about killing demons, lots of blood and guts, and the guy's got chainsaw for arms. So this movie is nothing like that. From IMDb, it says the overly confident Fujino is a girl, and the truant Kyomoto, also another girl. I think at the start they're maybe about 11 or 12. They couldn't be more different, but they both love drawing anime, and it brings the two girls together. So basically, both of them growing up. It's let me say, it's a short movie. It actually feels really short, and it's less than an hour long, and it's basically how their relationship going from elementary school all the way straight through to working life. And the title "Look Back" refers to loads of stuff in the movie. So, like when they run together, you'll always have one girl running ahead of the other, and she's looking back, watching. The animation is quite good, showing the other girl behind being pulled along. But it's also about when one of them, something happens, seriously bad happens to one of them, and then the other girl's looking back on their life. It is a really good movie, actually. I would have loved it to be longer so you could build more on their friendship. But the short movie is extremely good. The animation is really good, music's really good, and the story hits really well. It's basically a tribute to manga artists and loss, and I definitely recommend it. So that's Look Back. It is extremely difficult to find because the name is so generic, but yeah, go watch it. I think they're also going to make a live action version of it, but I don't know how that will go. Let me see. Then the last thing down here. Oh no, second last thing. Pluribus. I finished Pluribus. I don't know. Have you ever heard of a play called Waiting for Godot?
Yeah.
Like this famous play. It's described as a play in which nothing happens twice. Well, in Pluribus, there's 9 episodes, and nothing happens in virtually every single episode, to be honest. I'm not saying it's a modern day Waiting for Godot, but something happens at the very start, and then something happens at the very end. And I don't know why. I don't know how he does it. It's compelling viewing the whole way through, and it just draws you in. And like he's the the guys who do this. They did Breaking Bad. And there's so many episodes in Breaking Bad where literally nothing happens for half the episode, but you're still sat there watching it, glued to it. And they're the masters of doing a show where nothing happens, keeping you in there. And they like sitting with the silence in characters as the character sort of realizes what's happening or they're going through, and they'll just sit there watching the character, and you watch it, and it's brilliant. I don't know.
Yeah.
Really good, and it ended on such a good and I don't want to say sarcastic, but a cliffhanger at the end. Really good. I like this. But yeah, the whole way through it, you're going, what the fuck? There's nothing happening. What's going on? Yeah, but really good show. Good show. Watch it. And then while I was in Ireland, I watched a documentary about bullying and abuse on children. Like, not your light viewing that I would want to watch. It's absolutely horrible. But my nieces loved it. And they kept watching it episode after episode after episode. Now my nieces are, I don't know, 13, 14 and 11. I just could not stop watching this show. The show is called Dance Moms. I don't know if you know this.
Okay, I've heard
basically
of it.
Children being pushed through dance school. And it's, and their parents and how it all reacts. It's absolutely horrific, but it's compelling viewing. You've got this dance teacher calling them out, saying you're crap, you're dreadful, you should never be here, and all this. And the kids are breaking down, and the parents are trying to defend them. But I sat down and started watching this alone, chatting with my nieces, and got drawn into this, and got to the point where, the worst moment was when I heard myself shouting at my niece, go to the next episode quickly. Go on, I want to see what happens next, because one of the characters were going to hit the dance teacher. And I was like, this is drawing me in. It's dreadful TV, utterly dreadful, but utterly, addictive, really addictive. I'm so glad I'm back here. I have not gone to look to see if I can watch it anywhere else. It's a dreadful show, and really funny to watch. So that's Dance Moms. Watch it at your peril. So that's basically all I've watched. Yeah.
Okay.
Who wants to go next? Rich, do you want?
Well, Rich, around your house planning, have you had much chance to watch anything?
Oh yeah, there's always time to watch a bit of telly. So I think last month I talked about the fact that I dipped back into Parks and Recreation, amazing kind of comedy show. I'm just going back through the whole lot. So I think there's maybe 7 series, and I'm a good way through series 3 now. It's basically the opposite of the show that Brian just described. It's just really heartwarming, funny. There's virtually no bullying in it. It's just really good fun. So strongly recommend that for anyone who hasn't seen it. Yep. And then last time I think I mentioned that I'd just watched the first episode of Fallout. Mm-hmm. And I did that as I did it as a bit of a recce to see whether it was good viewing for me and the missus, or whether it was going to be just a strictly me gamer nerd thing only. And having watched that first episode, I thought, no, this is kind of good enough for us to watch together. So we've watched the whole of season 1 since 3 weeks ago, and loved it. Really, really impressed. I said last time I'm not super familiar with the games, but I've played enough to know that it seems to be just tapping in very much to the kind of lore and the look and feel of the world.
Yeah.
And the plot got a lot deeper than I thought it would, and it went to some surprising places. So yeah, really impressed with that. And I think, Stuart, was it last time you mentioned that you'd had a bit of whether it was an Amazon thing, serving you up the wrong episodes of things? Was it you, Stuart?
Oh, that was me on Apple TV.
Oh, was it on Apple, was it? Well, it did it to me. So I got through the first 3 episodes of Fallout and then got presented with, watch next episode. And so thought I was watching episode 4 of season 1. And it came up, so the beginning was slightly different, and it came up with Gulag. As in a play on words on Yule log, which I didn't realise at the time, but I just thought that was the name of the episode. And the ghoul came in, sat down in an armchair, and then got himself a whiskey, I think, and then started staring at the fire where he was burning a kind of human arm. Yeah. And it was like feature length. It was an hour and a half. So I was busy watching away, and 10 minutes goes, and there's just like a radio on in the background and this fire burning. And I was saying, "Oh, this is interesting." And I was like making comments like it's really good the way that TV's served now, because the directors can go whichever way they want. 20 minutes in, still staring at the fire, still with music playing off this radio, and I sat 90 minutes, and it was only afterwards I realised the fucking thing. It just served me up a play on a Yule log, but in the Fallout world. So I literally watched a fire burning for 90 minutes, thinking that it was episode 4.
Mate, you cannot comment on me pushing through playing games I don't enjoy then, if you sat and watched that for 90 minutes.
Yeah. Jeez. So that was an experience. And now I've ceased using the watch next episode feature, and I now navigate and make sure I get to the right one. So there's that. Finished season 1 of Fallout and still watching more Apprentice. And then movies-wise, I had last Monday off. And the way I consume telly, I use a thing called Sky Stream now. So everything streams. There's no kind of recording capability. But essentially it turns all of my telly into how Netflix serves it. So I can browse through things, I can wish list things, put them on a playlist, and then I don't need to have recorded it, it will just stream it for me. So I was having a little look through the movies on Sunday night last week before my day off, and just browsing through to see if there's anything new, and then up pops The Usual Suspects, which is probably up there in my top 2 or 3 all-time movies. And so I just put the first 10 minutes on, and before I knew it, it was 1 a.m, and I was watching the credits roll up on that, knowing that I'd got the day off afterwards. And just every time I watch that film, I love it. So that was good. And then the night before, I don't know whether this counts as a movie or a feature-length documentary, but Louis Theroux has got a new documentary out called Inside the Manosphere. So he goes off to Marbella to chat to these kind of young male influencers and kind of just do a bit of an expose on what their life is like and what their life views are like. And I find his work really compelling. So I enjoyed that a lot. And then back on books, I think last time I was stumbling on Wolf Hall, and I'd pivoted to reading Why the Last Man comic on DC Universe, and which I'm loving, and I'm probably halfway through the whole run of that now. But as is ever the way, as soon as you pay for a subscription to something, your mind wanders off elsewhere. So I've put Why the Last Man down, and I've picked Wolf Hall back up, and I'm just pushing through. I want to get it done. I'm a bit like you, Stuart, with your games. I'm kind of like, I don't want to be beaten by this. So I'm nearly there, a couple of 100 pages to go. But it's so highly rated, and Hilary Mantel, who's the author, she's super highly rated, and I've got to the point where I've had to Google, like, is she a good author? And I know that's a ridiculous Google to do, because it's all about opinions, but I wanted to know, is this just me? Or do other people share my view? And actually, it was a really interesting little rabbit hole to go down, because lots of people were saying that the way she writes is a bit of a stream of consciousness, and the best way to read it is to kind of let it wash over you and not try to get in, not try and stumble on the detail, just kind of let it happen and you'll work it out. And I read a couple of interviews with her as well, and she comes across very steadfastly not wanting to dumb it down at all, which kind of basically means that she's made a choice to let the reader work out who's who's saying what their job is at the time, because everybody's kind of changing their jobs and who their alliance is with. So everything's just left down to your own inference and interpretation, which to me doesn't work. I mean, I get it, you don't want to dumb it down too much, but just a basic understanding of who is in the room, which Stephen is talking at any given moment, and so forth. Anyway, I despite that, I am enjoying it. It's kind of like that 10-hour game that you hated but enjoyed at the same time and still played. I'm doing that with it. So next time we record, I will announce the completion of Wolf Hall and the enjoyment of something subsequent.
Cool. Okay.
How about you, Stuart?
I watched Predator Badlands as well, and I agree 100%, Brian. It was, young teen Predator trying to prove himself to his father who didn't appreciate him. Just got a wee bit annoying. The ramming of the Weyland-Yutani company from the Alien series down your throat in this one, as they're trying to force these two worlds together into one sort of standard, sort of shared world between the two was a little bit ham-fisted in the way it was done.
Yeah, slightly, yes.
And their attempt to take down the unkillable Uber prize, you knew was always going to be a bit of a weird twist at the end that would prove that wasn't the right thing to be doing. So it wasn't a good movie. I watched all the way through it though. It was a Predator movie. You're not expecting it to win Oscars, but it's certainly nowhere near what the original Predator movie was in terms of quality. Yeah,
agree.
I then watched a movie called The Rover, which was getting some high ratings on our local streaming services down here. It's a Guy Pearce and Robert Pattinson movie from 2014, so a very young Robert Pattinson, very much pre the Batman days, but I think possibly post the werewolf vampire thing that he did. Anyway, I think it was certainly I think he was certainly a known name at that stage. And this is a weird movie for them to be in, both of them. He plays a young man with issues, with mental issues, right? So he's not all there. He's got all these nervous tics and things, and it's like a cheap Mad Max knockoff. At the beginning of the movie, Guy Pearce's car gets stolen, and then he's just chasing after these guys the whole movie to try and catch them. And you never know why. It's never explained what's so important about his car. And then it all ends badly for everybody, sort of thing, Not the movie I thought I was going to be watching. No explained story, very little in the way of the way of dialogue. Probably not something I would recommend anyone spend any time watching, though. And then, swapping from sweet to salt or salt to sweet, I decided to go and have a look at some episodes of Love, Death and Robots, because I'd somehow managed to avoid watching season 3 and season 4. And the first episode I started watching was the first episode of season 4, which is called Close Encounters of the Mini-Kind. And I just fell in love with this series all over again. What a good episode. It's made using Unreal Engine. And it's, aliens invade the Earth, but it's all done as one of these sort of, there's a camera technique where you make the real world look like a little tiny model. Is it tilt?
Tilt shift, that's it, yeah.
Tilt shift, yeah. It looks like it's been filmed using tilt shift, but it's obviously all done in Unreal. And it was just very funny, very enjoyable, very short. I mean, they're the episodes themselves are only a couple of minutes long each. There's another episode in season 4 called The Other Large Thing, which is about humans bringing a They bring a robot into the house, and the humans are all, large, obese, and loud, and living, life to the excess. So in terms of food and drink and so on, and it's all about the cat in the household establishing a relationship with the robot, because the robot learns to speak cat, and it very funny. I really enjoyed this.
Yeah.
So watched all of season 3 and all of season 4. Then switched over to YouTube, and my son recommended that I watch a series called Tip to Tip, which is
Okay.
not some sexually deviant thing. It's two YouTubers. They travel from the southernmost end of Japan in a place called Cape Sata to the northernmost end in a place called Cape Soya, with no maps, on motorbikes. But no maps, no GPS. Very basic Japanese language skills, and they're not allowed to use any major roads, so like expressways and things, and they have to complete the trip from one end to the other in 15 days. And it was a good fun watch, completely unscripted, some genuinely funny moments. They're two fairly famous YouTubers, a guy called Ludwig and a guy called Michael Reeves, and if I was to watch any of their other sort of channel bits that they publish, they tend to annoy me quite a lot. I could see them both being on that Louis Theroux documentary. If I'm being honest, they're a wee bit sort of loud and obnoxious, and very much that sort of veering to the toxic masculinity side. But this was quite funny to watch.
I watched the first episode after you linked to it.
Yeah,
I need to go back and watch the rest. I really enjoyed the first episode. It was quite good.
Yeah,
I found it shocking that they found that he thought, Japanese people are helpful. Now, it was amazing because they got stuck at some junction. Some old man stopped and gave them directions, telling them where to go, and was breaking it down easy for them. But they went into a convenience store,
yep.
And the lady drew a map for them. That I don't see as being beyond. That's just normal. People here are quite friendly and helpful, especially if you're not being a loud, aggressive tourist. They will help you out. So, but they kept saying, this is helpful. I know in America, people are less likely to be open and helpful, but I don't know. It's normal. So, but this show is really good. I enjoyed it.
And I agree. It's definitely a comment on how life in America is versus how life in the rest of the world is, in terms of just how surprised they are by the amount of assistance they get given throughout this trip.
Yeah.
I started watching season 2 of Mythic Quest on Apple TV. Again, it's quite a funny comedy series. It's the guys that made Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Have you ever watched that?
Okay.
So
they've watched it.
So there's what's the guy's name? One of the guys that now owns a football club.
Ryan Reynolds
and the other guy, Rob McInerney or something. Yep. So he's the star of this one as well. He was also in Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And the concept is that they have this software development company that makes an MMO that's massive worldwide. And how do they keep the development happening, and what do they do from season to season, and all the interplay of all the teams within the business, and it's all just complete chaos, to be honest. But that's what they're playing off of in terms of the comedy value. So started watching that, but it's definitely disengaged brain viewing when you watch it, because you're not going to learn anything. You're not gonna have any sort of amazing breakthrough in life just from watching it. It's definitely just bubblegum TV. And then on my flight to Melbourne this week, I started watching The Man in the High Castle season 1 on Amazon Prime. And it came out in 2021. I missed it when it came out and didn't watch it. And I've now smashed through the first 4 episodes of the season, and I am absolutely loving this series. It is real. It's a Philip K. Dick book, so based on there's going to be alternate realities or sci-fi somewhere in there. The story of this is that the Nazis in Japan are ruling the world because they won World War II, but there's other things happening that make you doubt exactly what that reality is, you know? So very, very enjoyable watching. And then in terms of reading, I'm still going through the Wheel of Time book, still on book 8. I'm about 50% of the way through that now.
So you're sleeping well?
Picked up. No, I'm actually reading a lot more of it before I fall asleep now than I was before. I think that I don't know quite when the new author takes over to finish the story up.
Final 3, I think.
Okay.
Maybe the final 2 or 3, I think.
Book 8, he's certainly got over his, 15-page description of a pot or the bridle on a horse or whatever it might be. The story is progressing well. So yeah, I'm getting through that and still enjoying it. And then on other sort of topics, the guy that I was watching that was printing the Porsche GT3, he's now nearing the end of that project. So that car is now just about fully built, and it's looking really good. And so this month he announced his next project, and he's decided what he's going to do is he's going to 3D print a full 2026 spec F1 car. And he started with the nose cone. So he printed the nose cone out, and he started to glue it all together with the front wing, which has got 1,000 different parts in it. And he glued everything together for the first episode that he published last week. And just the nose cone itself is a massive, massive piece of a car, And then he painted out on the floor just how big he expects this thing to be when he's completed it. And it is going to be huge. So I'm looking forward to watching that. And then, as I said earlier, I finished my my last electronics project with the computer here. So I'm looking for a new project. And I think anybody that listens to the podcast, if you've got any ideas of things I could build, something that includes a little bit of electronics, maybe using some Arduinos or a Raspberry Pi and some 3D printing, let me know. I had a look at something called a TZX Duino board, which emulates a tape deck. So, the old 80s tape decks. And that would then allow me to plug that into my Spectrums and my Amstrad to load games off of an SD card. So I might look at building something like that if there's no better ideas, but certainly, community, let me know if you have any ideas of things that you think I'd like to build, and post it on the socials.
Right.
So that's everything I've been up to. All right. So games coming out next month. Anything worthwhile that you're aware of?
So there's a couple of things. I think one's just come out, and one is coming out soon, or it only says 2026, but it has just had a demo. So these are 2 games from the kind of Disco Elysium mold. And there's a whole bunch of politics that I'm not super well read on, but I know that the Disco Elysium studio kind of ripped itself apart, and there was a massive fight between the kind of business side and the creative side. And so Zero Parades for Dead Spies has got a demo out now, and it's due for release during the year. And I think that they're the bad guys arm of things. And then I think there's various of the creatives have scattered about, and there's another game called Esoteric Ebb, which has just come out. And I don't know whether it contains some of the good guys or is just influenced by the good guys. But that's showing overwhelmingly positive on Steam at the moment, and is a game that I absolutely would have bought day one. Another kind of, story-rich RPG, choices, Dungeons and Dragons kind of vibe about it. Text down the right-hand side, all of that kind of stuff. So I'd have really enjoyed that. And those are the only 2 things that have kind of stood out this month, apart from, of course, Marathon, which I think we talked about on the last show. So from what I've seen of that, it's a game that I would have bought just because of the hype, and I'd have already fallen off it, I'm sure. Because it's dividing a lot of opinion. I think some people do love it, but some people are struggling with it. And I think in particular, the criticism that I've seen about it is that playing as a solo, the balance is all kinds of wrong, and it's really rewarding. Like basically fighting against NPCs. If you're a trio, that works fine, but if you're a solo, they've essentially got the same kind of health bars, and so the whole thing just becomes super problematic. So I think there's a bunch of balance issues that would have made it hard for me to enjoy it, because I'd have dived in solo. So there's however much money saved right there. They're the main things for me this month.
Brian, how about yourself?
For me, the only game this month, I think Saros is next month, isn't it? If I remember rightly.
April the
Marathon
30th.
is the game I would. April, yeah, I would have liked to try Marathon. I know the numbers aren't there yet. I'm really hoping Sony don't can the game or kill it early. Let it give it time to grow. Hopefully it will. So I hope Sony don't kill it. Rainbow Six Siege started off low and has developed and has become quite a big game now. So hopefully this will. I believe Marathon is free to play, and then you just buy cosmetics. I'm not sure. I think it's free to play. So I would have gone for it anyway. Try it, but hopefully we'll stick to it and develop a game, unlike previous games where they just cancelled or unrelease a game like they did before. So I'm hoping to stick with it and show faith in the Bungie stuff, because I really don't want to see them getting screwed over. So I would like.
Yeah, Marathon's actually, that's a paid game. It's $34.99 here in the UK. So I think that they kind of like have to stick with it. Surely, if people have paid, like if it's free to play, they can just switch it off, can't they? Nobody's out of pocket, but they need to stick with.
That's my fear. You see, like Highguard, as you mentioned before, Highguard was free to play, I believe. That was, and any game is free to play. Yeah. You have no investment in that game at all, so you just tend to leave. There's no, you don't feel any loss or anything with that game. So I'm hoping with Marathon they'll stick with it and it'll become a bigger game. Yeah, but I don't know. I hope that game does well. That's the main game I would like to have tried this month. And
cool.
How about yourself?
Well, I had 4 games listed of note for coming out in April. One of them was Saros that you were talking about earlier. The other one is a game called Darwin's Paradox, where it's a platformer, but you play as an octopus, and it looks similar to that Mouse for Hire one they were talking about. It just looks like the sort of game that nothing else looks like. So I think that could be a lot of fun.
Oh yes, that looks quite good.
Yeah.
I've been looking at March. That's why I haven't seen what's coming out in April. Sorry.
That's all good. So that's April the 2nd. That's supposed to be coming out. And then Replaced was one other one that appeared on my list. That's like a 2.5D cyberpunk action platformer. Similar to Flashback in style. But hopefully better than, I don't know if you guys ever played Flashback 2 that came out in 2023. It's about the only game I've ever considered taking back.
Wow.
It was such utter garbage that I thought, you know what, I'm going to take this back. And then I thought, well, if everyone that buys it takes it back, this will become a rare game in the future. So I'll just put it in the back of the drawer.
It's investment. Oh wow!
But it will never be played on my machines because it was utter garbage. And then the final one that I see coming out on April the 24th is Pragmata. I still don't know what that game is going to be all about. That it's a sci-fi on a lunar base with this weird young girl android that can hack things, but she hangs on your back like a backpack. It just looks odd.
I wonder if you can call her a tool.
I don't know.
Like in not Alien, but in a Predator movie.
Yeah, he refers to the android on that as his tool. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those are the only 3 that are coming out this month that I would probably have looked at.
There's one game.
Nothing's gonna.
Well, you mentioned Saros, excellent game. I'm so looking forward to that. Or I would be so looking forward to it. But the other game, did you ever play Days Gone? Have any of you played Days Gone? I love that game. It's been remastered, apparently, for the PS5. Ooh. And that's coming out in April, 25th of April.
Right.
I really would love to have seen the second game. It had such great horde mechanics. It was brilliant for the game, but
terrifying.
I'd love to see it. Yeah.
you'd be walking through the map or driving through the map on your motorbike, and then suddenly you'd hear the roar, and you'd think, "What?" And you look behind you, and there's just this massive
blimey.
zombies coming running at you. And you're like, "Oh
Yeah.
no!"
But trying to set them up so you could lead them and funnel them through places where you could blow them up and catch them, that was really good fun.
That was really good,
pull
yeah.
And shooting all in one. That was a really good game.
Yeah.
Hopefully the remaster will generate some interest.
All right. So news. What news articles have come out in the last month or 3 weeks that have tickled your interest?
Okay, before we say anything, I've got to say, Stuart pulled together so much news. And he did such a good job bringing it through and then putting in detail, like a little blurb about each story. It's like there's pages of it. He's well done. Thank you for doing this. That's amazing.
Yeah, we won't read them all out because we'll be here for another 2 hours if we do.
Yeah. So you've got the US Customs destroying an extremely rare copy of a game because it had adults only on it.
Yeah, so this is a game from 1999 on a floppy drive. And when you watch the video of the guy claiming it was destroyed, it is a little bit sus looking because he opens the box on camera, but you can clearly see that the top of the box has already been opened. So whether it was Customs that did it or whether it's him trying to do a, buyer's remorse, let's do an insurance scam to try and get the money back, I don't know. But yeah, his theory is that because it said adults only on it, that Customs just completely destroyed this floppy disk.
They probably had no way to access it.
Maybe, yeah. Yeah. Anything else that took your interest?
Witcher 3, this DLC or expansion.
Yeah.
Interesting is I didn't ask about this because I was I don't have Ghost of Yota, and I did ask the community about whether you could play the DLC. And it wasn't because I was thinking about the Witcher 3 DLC coming out, which I do have. But yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it'll be good. Expand the world, the linking to Witcher 4. But they have mentioned bringing out a patch that would allow PlayStation to play mods. I was hoping they do that at some stage because that'd be quite cool.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, I think Sony pulling from multi-platform day one games is intriguing. Whether it's because of Steam or because of Microsoft self-destruction. But yeah, they haven't. I don't think they've admitted to it themselves. They haven't declared it themselves. It was Jason Schreier who broke the news. But yeah, let's see what happens.
What did you guys think of the God of War series that's being filmed? Did you see the first images of it?
The ones that look like AI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't look right, does it?
It does not look right. It looks very strange.
Yeah. Hopefully it's just that it's raw footage and it's not been polished up by editing. But yeah.
I don't know. The image was a bit weird, a bit odd.
Yeah. Yeah. And nobody on this group was still playing High Guard?
No, can you still play?
It's shut. No, it shut down yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
It disappeared, yeah. I mean, there was still activity on it when I looked at SteamDB.
Yeah.
So there were still players playing it right up until the end. But yeah, it's no more. It's been shut down 31 days, longer than Concord lasted. But it was still less than 2 months from go to O. And as you say, sad. Brian, if you're not paying to invest in the game, then it's very easy just to move on to something else because there's no buy-in,
Yeah, yeah. It is sad to see, because the devs, they put how many years building that game up?
Yeah.
And to have Tencent turn around and say, no, gone, and close it.
Yeah.
The people who worked on Concord, I saw there was an interview with them, and they're talking about the fact that that's on their CV now, that they worked on that. And other people, when they go for a new job, oh, you worked at Concord, you worked on Concord. And they don't know whether it's a good thing or a bad thing. But I said, High Guard, and it's going to have the same grief now whenever they go for a new job. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's rough.
Maybe just put on your CV, you've been in jail for 2 years.
That's yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame.
Oh, and when it comes to, you were talking about beating the Valkyries or what was the other one in God of War 2?
Berserkers.
The Berserkers, yeah. We probably won't have to worry about getting through those because both Microsoft and Sony have now got these AI patents where you'll have an AI agent that pops up and plays the game for you when it gets too hard. It's like, wow.
That's cool.
Someone doesn't understand the attraction of gaming then, if that's what they're proposing.
Gaming for us elderly, that's it.
Yeah.
Midlife gamers will be just filled with bots helping us. So,
yeah.
When I was playing God of War Ragnarok, I couldn't find a way to progress, and I knew I had to go through it, but I couldn't see it. So I know you have Mimir saying maybe it's over here, and the Atreus standing beside it, but I could not see it. That I had to do this jump or whatever. So maybe if something just pointed out, it appeared as a big arrow point here you dump, whatever, here, and then I go over it. Yeah, that would be good. That would be helpful. But yeah, so we'll see. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, there's so many more sort of notes I've made here, but one that I did love from this month was that there's apparently a web cartoon called Space Kings, and they decided to come out with this fan only exclusive purchase called the No Girls Allowed box. And so all these people queued up to buy it, and inside it there was a flagon that you could use to drink your daily drink out of. Flagon was made of pewter. Turns out everyone that's been drinking out of that has now got quite severe lead poisoning.
Oh no!
Oh my god!
They meant to issue a retraction saying don't drink.
I'm not going to say serves them right.
The flagon. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Anything else that you guys noticed?
I think the one that jumped out to me is obviously the Xbox news. So Project Helix getting announced, and it's kind of interesting because it's obviously the Steam box is coming, and I'm thinking that would be a lovely way to play all the Steam games in a different room. And then obviously Xbox sort of looking like it's going the same way. And I think that coupled with the fact that I think is the backwards compatibility coming to PC
next month
as well. Next month. Yeah. So all of this stuff together makes me think, well, I don't need the next Xbox console, because if my PC will play my games that I've got on the Xbox ecosystem, then that's good. I'll have the Xbox upstairs that I've lost to my son, and then I've got my PC that I can play all my Xbox games on. I think it's great. Carry on.
I was going to say, you said the compatibility. That's where they're allowing people on Xbox PC to play games that were previously not available on the PC side.
So.
Windows 11 will get an Xbox app.
I didn't know.
So it can play Xbox games now, whether it's Xbox and Xbox 360 and not Xbox Series X, Series S, hasn't been clarified. But they're certainly starting to merge those two platforms together into one.
Become one SKU.
The only thing that I could see that might potentially cause you to consider buying a separate Xbox now would be if the graphical capability of it is so much higher than a 5090, or something that would cost you an exorbitant amount to put into a PC. But certainly what they're talking about in terms of putting into this Project Helix, it doesn't look like it's massively above what we have right now in our desktops.
No, exactly. And so it must be strategic, because I've been generally on the green side. I had a PS1 and PS2, but I've been kind of Xbox since, with a fair amount of regret, I've got to say, but also a lot of joy. And I'd normally get the next console on day one, but I just don't see what it would give me now. So I think next gen I'll get myself a PlayStation and kind of shore up my coverage across the whole games sphere, and then on desktop it looks like I'll be able to do whatever I want Xbox wise. So got it all covered without having to buy two consoles, so that's good.
It's intriguing. if they start bringing their whole catalogue onto PC, there's no, unless you don't have a PC, there's no reason to go buying an new Xbox. Maybe they've just given up on the PC side and just decided they're going to pull cash from them as much as possible.
I don't know. Yeah,
it's weird.
Watch this space, I guess. Yep.
Yeah.
See how it develops.
Then,
all right. Shall we move on to the questions from the socials?
I was going to say the biggest news the entire month is Nathan Fillion is bringing back Firefly.
Yeah,
which is
true.
It's a big brown coat. Love them. Loved them. The show and the movie. But oh my god, it's so good. And he's been. If you've been watching on Instagram, I think he's been supposedly knocking on the older cast's door, being really obtuse, saying, "Oh yeah, is it time?" This type of thing, and not saying exactly what's going to happen, but I believe we'll find out tomorrow what's happening.
Yeah,
the time of recording anyway. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Hopefully, Firefly 2. So that'll be cool.
As long as it's not a webcomic, as long as they're not boosting us all up for something that's just a non-event. So, but we'll find out tomorrow.
Better not be little bobblehead dolls.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Questions from the socials.
Ooh.
So we've got 4 questions this month. First one's from Paul Wilson from season 13, and that is: when it comes to movies and TV series trailers, can you tell quite quickly that yes, you would like to watch it? And if so, do you stop the trailer before the end to avoid any further spoilers? Personally, he finds that most trailers give too much of the plot away. Brian, how do you approach these?
Okay, the last thing, the trailers give too much of the plot. That is so true. Any big surprise in the movie is often ruined by the trailer, or I've found anyway. I watch YouTube shorts. You get to see clips of trailers, and I watch a part of it, and that looks good. I'll go and watch it. And YouTube has figured out that I like movies where there's either somebody being bullied or somebody's fighting back against a larger crowd. So I get to see all these small fight, like one person fighting against a load of other people or standing up against a lot of other people. And that's what brought me to a load of shit movies last year, because I watched all the movies that YouTube brought to me. So I'm not sure it's an idea of one thing, but yeah, I try not to watch trailers. I'll hear about the movie coming up and then watch a little bit of it, and that if I get the sense of it's something I like, and then I'll be in the trailer and not watch no more until I get the chance to watch the movie. I just note it down on an app that I have for TV and movie show TV time. Put it in there, and I'll get back to it at some point when it's out. Yeah. No. How about you, Stuart? What do you think?
I usually watch it all the way through, and then I'll activate my usual goldfish short-term memory capability, and it's gone 10 seconds later. And then 3 years later on down the track, I'll be scrolling through all the streaming services, and I'll go, "Oh, that looks quite interesting," and I'll watch it, and it'll be a complete surprise to me. So, yeah, it doesn't worry me if I've watched all the way through the trailer itself.
Nice.
Rich, what do you tend to do?
So I avoid trailers like the plague. So the only time I'll ever watch a trailer is if I'm sat in the cinema and I can't avoid it. So if I'm at the cinema with the missus, the trailers will come on and we'll do almost like a rock paper scissors kind of 3, 2, 1, thumbs up, thumbs down, and if we get a double match, then that's something we might go watch.
Okay.
But I will avoid completely trailers. I'll do my own kind of research on what I want to watch, to the point where at the beginning of the Apprentice series that I watch, at the beginning of every show, they show short, like an intro sequence that shows the contestants kind of doing their thing through the series. And I avoid that because I know that I'll start working out who I've seen in which clip and which task it was. And I'll start plot spoiling for myself. So it's like I can't let myself do it because I'll overthink it. So yeah, no, thank you, trailers.
Okay,
very good.
Next question is from Stuart Cullen from season 3. Do you fear that there will be a point during the year where clearing your backlog stops being enjoyable or an achievement and instead becomes more like gaming homework for the cast? And how much of your respective piles of shame would you say are titles you really wanted compared to titles you bought from ultimately the fear of missing out, as the cool kids would say? FOMO, yep. Richard?
Yeah, so I think I do fear that I'm going to kind of run out of stuff that I really want to play, only because that's what I had last night. I mentioned it earlier, is that I really wanted to play something new and different. And I was looking, I've got a bunch of games downloaded on my desktop that I'd kind of shortlisted. And I was looking through those and thinking, I don't really feel like any of these right now. So,
Oh
so
no.
it's definitely, it's going to start hitting. And I am conscious it's early in the year. So I need to put that right and get my teeth into something. So that's why I was thinking something like Outer Worlds, something I can invest in and spend a good few hours in will be good. So it won't feel. I mean, I know what I've signed up to, so I don't think it's going to feel like gaming homework. I'll still get joy out of trying new things. I just might struggle a little bit more finding which ones. And then I think the second part of the question was how much of the pile of shame is stuff I wanted versus FOMO. So, I mean, 90% of my backlog is stuff I didn't knowingly buy anyway. It's come out of bundles and things like that. So, there's not a lot in there that I've bought and wanted to play, but haven't yet. So it's going to be interesting over the next 9 months, like trawling through it and finding the stuff I really want.
Yeah.
How about you, Brian?
Do I fear it's going to become like homework? No, I did this last year, and because I hope it doesn't hit now. I like playing games. I find them challenging. So if I get to the point where I keep getting frustrated with games and putting them down, that might happen then. But I'm hoping that's only just the odd game that happens with. And I've got so many good games on the backlog. So
Yeah, you've got a big meaty selection of great games, haven't you?
yeah. So like if I do enjoy Baldur's Gate, there is always a chance I may hate the game and just bin it, but I'm looking forward to trying that, and like Cyberpunk. So they're pretty much known quantities. They're supposed to be great games, so hopefully pure gaming bliss. There you go. I can't. All I've been drinking is green tea. I have no alcohol, so yeah, I still can't speak. As you said, most of my gaming catalog was bundles I bought, and you get like 20 games or 10 games, or in one case I got 1,000 and something games. There's only 1 or 2 games out of the whole pile that I wanted to play, and the rest, you add all this stuff, the keys to your catalog, so it looks bigger and bigger. And like, I have all these games, but they're not games I wanted to play. So the poor games on my backlog are quite small that I really want to play. And do I think it's going to be fun? The only game I bought for FOMO recently is Arc Raiders. Like I said, and before that, like I've been what they call a patient gamer. I could wait 2 or 3 years for a game to come out and then play it. So I don't mind. On PC, it's definitely advantageous to be a patient gamer because the game prices drop. If you wait even 6 months, game prices drop dramatically. On PlayStation, you have to tend to wait a little bit longer to be a bit more patient. But yeah, I'm more of a patient gamer, so FOMO doesn't really tend to hit me. It did badly with Arc Raiders because I kept seeing everybody talking about how great it was. And we were getting towards the end of the year. I was thinking, oh, I need a new game. And then that hit at the same time. And FOMO definitely hit me. And it's frustrating because it's just, for me, it's just become this game where I'm dealing with my inventory at the moment. Ultimately, it should be a good game, I hope.
I mean, it sounds like you're playing the same game as Richard's playing with Backpack Hero.
Yes, yeah. Yes, yeah. I think it was Stuart Whitehouse said to me, just sell everything, get rid of it all, and then you can go out and play more. Maybe I'll do that, just sell everything and move on. Yeah, that's the important part. But yeah, I enjoy playing games. Too much, I think.
Cool.
How about yourself then, Stuart?
Yeah, I mean, not at this stage. It's not become anything like gaming homework. My backlog's still quite large. And I've already selected the target games for each month, so I plan to just keep churning through those. I've still got those long games that I'm playing, so the Clair Obscure, the Baldur's Gate 3, and I've got the Indiana Jones game, the Eternal Circle or whatever it's called.
Yep.
The Great Circle. So that's sitting there still in the shrink wrap. So they'll be fired up continually throughout the period. And right now, I'm definitely enjoying it. I can't see that changing in the short term. And as to how many of the games on the list were ones that are really wanted versus FOMO purchases, it's probably about 20% are games I wanted. And the rest are not FOMO, but they're, Epic, PS Plus, Amazon freebies. So it'd be poor form not to add them to the list. They just never ever got looked at, So having them on the list and never looked at seemed like a waste. And that's why working through them now and giving them that opportunity to see a little bit of sunlight, I think is what I'm trying to do here. And it's been good. I'm playing some stuff that I'd never would have looked at. So that's been really good. All right. Next question is from Mark Tudor, who's a new member. So welcome, Mark. Hope
Howdy.
This is entertaining for you. And his question is, hello, chaps. Do you have a favourite weekend gaming beer? I enjoy a St. Austell proper job. From my perspective, if I drink beer, I drink a full-strength lager called GFB. And I've got one right here, right now.
Oh, lovely.
GFB, I don't know what it stands for. It's either gluten-free beer or it's good fucking beer, depending on how much you think they thought about the name when they were designing it. It's quite good, given that it's gluten-free. But usually I tend to stick to a glass of red wine, or more recently I've started drinking gin and tonic when gaming. And, I tend to enjoy a gin more than the other two. Brian?
Let me see. I've sort of given up drinking, just by and by, trying to be healthy. I do drink when back in Ireland on Guinness Zero recently. It's not the same, but it's good enough. And after 20 years living in England, trying to drink the Guinness there, Guinness Zero is actually really good. Proper Guinness is gorgeous, but the only drink I've had here was another stout. It came in a bottle, and it was slightly chocolatey, but it was like Guinness laced with port. And it came in, you got in a half pint glass, and it was 12%. It was 12 or 15%, and it was lethal. It was gorgeous. It was amazing. Now, I link it with gaming because I was one of my first times doing D&D gaming in a pub. There's a club here that meets up, and I have to go back. I have to start getting back into it because I find myself getting self-conscious about being imaginative in front of loads of people instead of just in my own mind. And this beer was really helpful because after a small bit of it, I could feel the back of my head lifting, and then a little bit later, for the next glass, I was like, stay quiet, stop talking, stay quiet, and then after that, then it really relaxed me, and I got into the game, the D&D, very much so. Yeah, so about me for alcohol. So, Rich, you obviously don't drink it. That was ginger ale you were drinking last night, I thought.
Yeah, it wasn't bourbon. It definitely wasn't bourbon. I do like a beer when I'm gaming. So most streamers have like a hydrate command. So people who are watching kind of accrue points, and they can redeem a hydrate to kind of keep their streamer hydrated. So I've got one of those, but I've also got a premium hydrate that costs a few more points, and that makes me crack open a beer. So I do like. There's a brewery near me called Wiper and True, and they do a lovely milk stout, so sort of Guinness adjacent. And I thank Mark for this question because it has prompted me that after we finish recording, I will go down to my local greengrocers that sells this stuff as well and get myself a couple of cans and sit and enjoy that this afternoon.
Nice.
Nice,
right.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Actually, I was just thinking, the only other drink here I've had that was quite good. I've had sake, and sake is like petrol. They do frozen lager here. Ooh. So it comes out at sub-zero. The head turns ice. It's like little ice crystals in the head. It's really cold. And because it's cold, you can't taste how good or bad the lager is. But it's actually quite refreshing. But yeah, that was quite nice. Yeah, nice. Anyway, that's it. Sorry. I'll let you get back on.
Good.
I'll stop going on tangents.
All good. All right, last question is from Blair. Blair Ferguson. So it says, sorry, just a minute. Need to get my question out from my briefcase. It's baby hide, 100% genuine human baby hide. Do you like it? So on to my question. Given your current situation, has your gaming experience changed? Do you find you're playing games less often due to not having the new shiny? If so, what are you doing instead? Is there another existing hobby you're doing more of? Or have you taken up a new pastime? Also, have you noticed any differences in your financial status due to not buying all the new gas games? Brian.
I think your briefcase looks snazzy. Let me see. Has my situation changed? No, I still pretty much come home from work, sit down on the couch, and play games. Gaming any less. I'm not gaming more. Not normally anyway. So I'm pretty much the same. I would, because I'm more of a patient gamer. The amount of money I would have saved would have been less anyway. So yeah, not that big of a difference for me. Yeah. We'll see. That's about it, really. Yeah. How about you, Rich?
Yeah, it's interesting. I think, if anything, I'm probably playing more games. So in a typical year, when I'm doing the new buying of new ones, it's kind of what we were saying about Marathon and High God. There's a bit more investment. I mean, I know I've already bought these games at some point, but mentally, all of the games in my backlog are free, as versus new ones that would cost money. So I'm trying out games. So like, Back Hero and Into the Breach. I've picked those up. I've fired them up on the handheld, and because they're already in the backlog, I'm not feeling a specific commitment to play them through to a finish. It's just like, I'll give this a try. If I like it, I'll carry on. If I don't like it, or if something else grabs my fancy, I'll just move on. And it's kind of like giving me that opportunity to pick up something and not have that, oh, I've just spent $10 on this, I must play more before I buy something new. So if anything, I'm trying a few more games, and there's maybe a little bit less commitment from my end, at least, to definitely finishing them, and I feel okay with that. And then in terms of gaming time, that's purely a function of how busy work is, how much stuff I've got to do with the kids, how tired I am, that kind of stuff. So I will game as much as I can, like in the balance of things. So it's not driven by what games I'm playing, because I've got my Arc Raiders, I've got my Rocket League that I can always go to, and if I've got my teeth into something else, I'll go to that. It's just that age-old kind of battle of, should I stay up later than I should on a weekday because gaming. So it's just always that fine balance of having the energy to do it. How about you, Stuart?
I mean, yeah, we spoke about the list of games that I'm playing and completing. So we're 3 months into the year, and I've completed 12 games already. That would not have happened pre-Year of Shame. I would have most likely encountered a spot in some of those games and just dropped it and moved on to the next game because it got too hard. Whereas now I'm focusing on it and playing it through and completing it and moving on to the next thing. So maybe the opposite to what you were just saying, Richard, that having the list of games there, I'm still focusing on one at a time and playing that to completion before I move on. So that's been interesting for me, and it's been fun, Have I saved any money? God, no. I've not saved a cent, because all the money I would have spent on gaming, I just spent on a 3D printer, and I'm spending on filament for the printer, So life finds a way to spend,
That's
funny. It's funny. So I didn't answer the money question, because what I've been doing, because the way we divvy up finances, I won't go into all of the detail, but I end up with a little bundle of money, not that much, but each month I end up with a bundle of money, which I pretty much exclusively would spend on games previously, and obviously that hasn't been happening this year. So I've done a couple of things. I'm like refreshing some of my clothes. I generally just don't buy new clothes, and that is now telling. So I am using some of that pot to just like restock on jumpers and things, but the rest I'm putting into a little savings account. And I mean, interest rates won't make much of a difference, but there's just this little pot of money that is not growing because of the interest, but it's growing because I'm not buying games. And I'm absolutely prepared to admit that January the 1st, 2027, that pot is getting rinsed. I'm not going to change.
So you're not thinking of doing another year after this, following Brian?
No way. No, Brian can go for the 3. I'm not doing 2.
Oh no. I've the first year I definitely played more or completed more games. This year I'm far more laid back. So I did at one stage try to do a game a week, clear a week, and then see if I could get how far I could get and how many games I could clear. But last year we turned up and I'd have 3 games or 4 games, and it's like a month. I'm doing okay. And then Ben had come out with like 12 games. I've finished these 12 games. Like, oh, bloody hell, I can't keep up with that. So I sort of gave up after a while. But so I'm now far more laid back. I'm not putting in extra hours, but I'm spending more time in each game and enjoying it. I do think if a game doesn't click with me, I will drop it quicker now because of experience of doing this. Whereas before, I would start a game and finish it, regardless whether I liked the game or not. I would just, because I started, as you said before, I started, I'll finish. So now I'm far more likely to just, no, gone, move on.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, that was all the questions. So thank you very much, guys, for submitting. Very much appreciated. So we're looking at some new ideas for upcoming episodes, and so a couple of things we're looking at is, maybe getting some of the old Year of Shame crowd to come back and record some episodes, and we can include that here. Again, reaching out to the community, let us know if you think that's something you'd like to hear. We've sent some questions out for guys to consider recording against, and when we get those back, we'll be including them every so often in these episodes. The other thing we were looking at was maybe reintroducing a game of the month. So looking through our list to see where the overlap is between all three of us and finding something that all three of us want to play, I think is one of the things that we will have to focus on at least over the next month or two. So watch this space, and if it's something that the listeners have got on their pile as well and they fancy joining us along for the ride, I'd be keen to find out how that goes. So we'll let you know what the game will be at the beginning of the month, and then we can work through our in a shared space and hopefully all enjoy it. And with that, I think we're coming to the end. So unless you've got anything else you want to chat about, I want to thank you both for hosting this episode with me, and thanks to the loyal listeners for sticking with us. So with that, we're done for this episode. Brian, do you want to lead us out with the goodbyes?
Yep. Thank you for anybody who's listening. Thank you for the questions. To the 4 question givers, that was Paul, Stuart, Mark, and Blair. Thank you for the questions. Always good to get them. Thank you to you both, and thank you for covering for last month for me. That was
anytime.
Quite cool of you. I'll try and finish quickly. Bye.
Rich.
Amazing. And thanks, Stuart, for hosting, and thanks in advance, Brian, for the edit. Good luck. I know it's always a scary time. And thank you, listeners, and look forward to telling you about some new old games next month.
Cool. All right. Goodbye, all. Have a great gaming month and enjoy all those new games that we can't touch for another 9 months. And we'll see you all again in April. Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.
Onto the socials. You can email questions and comments to us at yearofshame@gmail.com. We're on the YouTube, MLGY lowercase OS. And you can contact us through Blue Sky, X, Twitch, and Facebook if you just type Year of Shame, all lowercase. Thanks.
I'm editing, so I'm cutting this all out so I appear intelligent.